All right, so we're 4 minutes after the top of the hour. I'm sure if you can hear in the background, there's fireworks going off, basically due to my location. But there's a lot to talk about and a lot of time to discuss it. Welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Podcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, is Ashley. I don't know where this is going, honestly. I guess we'll see.
Diesel Reigns.
Oh, dear God. Hey, I started it, so there you go, I guess.
I know. I just realised that the harmonica, which clearly isn't a harmonica, because if you try and play any sort of notes, it's like A, G, E, in like weird orders. But if you blow where it says the number one note, it sounds like a fucking truck horn.
It does. It totally does. So tonight, if you are reading the description, you'll notice that we've got Smackdown, 205 Live, Impact, UFC, WCPW, NXT, including the tapings that are ongoing right now in Full Sail, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and news and rumors from around the wrestling world. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. So, a lot of stuff to discuss tonight. A lot of things have been going on. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, Ashley, let's talk a little SmackDown, shall we?
Oh, let's start with this one. Well, first thing we should mention, this show started off with a graphic paying tribute to Matt Anoa'i.
Welcome, Logan.
Who passed away. I don't think they said what it was, but the fact that he had some congenital heart failure issues a couple of years back.
Right.
I'm guessing it was probably complications from a heart attack, probably. I don't think we've got official confirmation of like cause of death.
Not officially yet, but does say that in January of 2014, he was hospitalized for congestive heart failure and atrial fibrillation.
Mm-hmm.
This was 10 days after his 47th birthday.
You see, when you see things like that, and obviously a similar situation that happened to his, I think, his cousin, Umanga,
right?
As Regal always called him. I really hope Joe doesn't get it.
I hope not.
I don't know whether it's some genetic thing in which large Samoans, have some sort of issue with their hearts or something. Not in sort of like a hole in the heart sort of style thing that Eddie had, but certainly sort of a big body's going to need obviously a lot of heart pumping, and it might knacker it or whatever. But certainly, yeah, nice that they did a touch for that.
Yeah, I'm not
surprised
they would.
In all honesty, I thought they would because of obviously was it Jamal that he was in 3-minute warning?
3-minute warning.
Yeah, was it Jamal or was that
he was Rosie
character? Oh, so he stayed Rosie even in the hurricane gimmick.
Yeah. Well, he was the superhero in training for a while, remember?
Yeah, but he was Rosie as well when he was in 3-minute warning.
Yeah, he was Rosie. He was Chemo, started out as Chemo, and then he went to Rosie immediately, and his partner, of course, was ECMO, which was Jamal. So there you go.
Yeah. So we're starting off with Charlotte, and says that she's already lost her patience. They binge watching Fast and Furious because I'm fastly getting furious. because they will deal with a queen scorned. You know, she can't understand how she hasn't got a title match. You know, what is taking so long? So Naomi comes out and says, you know, we don't have kings, and there's no queens on SmackDown either. What we have are champs, and that if you want if you want an opportunity, I'm willing to give you it because you're not scared. So they have a little bit of a fight, and then Shane's music comes out and says, "Look, if the crowd wants to see him fight, they'll fight tonight. But superstars have to earn their opportunities here, despite all their pedigrees and resumes, except if it's Cena." Double standards much. No, you got to earn your title match. So if you beat Naomi, you'll become the #1 contender, and you'll get a title match next week. So the great thing is they tease as if the match is going to happen there and then, but it doesn't, because after ads we got Natalya in Shane's office that's not happy that Charlotte's being given special treatment and whatever. And Shane says, "Look, Natty, you had an opportunity at WrestleMania." And Natalya's like, "That wasn't the same thing." And Shane says, "All you had to do was ask." Then Carmella comes in, and they don't get it. And then Tamina comes in. Becky Lynch is nowhere to be seen. And Natalya's like, "This is all Charlotte's fault, but I think we know how to deal with this." And so wants to talk with Tamina and Carmella. And then right from the off, we're starting off with the #1 contenders match for the WWE title. With Zayn, Harper, Ziggler, Rowan, Mahal, and Mojo. Thing is, it's a pretty good match.
Yeah, it totally was.
In all honesty. But the ending has me worried.
Yeah, it seems to me like WWE really wanted to push Mark Capani when he was Muhammad Hassan. And they were really leading him to a world title push. Obviously, he was going to be the one to beat The Undertaker. And they were going to give him a nice world title reign. But then the London bombings happened, and that gimmick had to get killed dead in the water. Fast forward now, where you have somebody who used to be a jobber, used to be on the low of the low mid card, if that, or basically an opening guy, except for when he was doing 3MB. But the thing about him is he went and got the Vince physique. And apparently they added Gurv and Harv Sira, the Bollywood boys, to be his muscle, I guess you would say, like the people who do his dirty work for him, which is interesting because the Bollywood boys were on 205 Live, and their match was so, well, it wasn't really taken very seriously. So they moved them down to NXT, which is where they are now. And then they show up here on SmackDown, and we've got a stable working on our hands. Ring of Honor has 6-man tag belts. I'm almost surprised WWE's not going to get them before too long.
The fucking Bangra Bucks.
Yeah. I mean, the match was fine as it was. They got rid of everybody, and he gets the exploder, does Sammy into the buckle on Jinder, and then he sets up the Haluva kick. The Bollywood boys grab the feet, and Jinder hits a Cobra Clutch Slam for the win. This was very interesting. I don't I understand why they're doing this. I just don't get it. This reminds me welcome. Oh, real quick. Welcome, Jeremy, Logan, and Pedro. Here's the thing. This reminds me of, remember when the Big Boss Man was built up to be the world title challenger for the Big Show at the Royal Rumble?
Straight after the Kennel from Hell.
Yes. That's what this reminds me of. That's exactly the direction I think this is going. Pedro, all right, Sami Zayn or Luke Harper should have won that match, without a doubt. No one else should have even came close.
No. And this is where it feeds into my theory. Who was not in that match?
Nakamura.
That isn't already busy.
Nakamura.
Who's due a title shot? Corbin.
No, he's running a world title program right now. For some reason. I still don't get that, but
he's the number one contender.
Oh, he was going to get the match later on in the show, so that's the reason why he wasn't involved in the six-way.
The number one contender is Jinder. I honestly... well, I mean, yeah, he was in that, but I honestly think, because, you know, it's in Dave's stuff from last week, the plan for Backlash is Orton versus Corbin.
That's correct.
That would be a much more interesting affair to me than Orton Jinder.
Well, yeah, and you
think is going to happen is Corbin is going to somehow take Jinder's spot,
or they're just going to do the contendership match with Jinder on a random SmackDown.
No, they've stated that Jinder's going to Backlash.
My God, if they do a three-way with Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal,
I don't think they will do a three-way.
God, I hope not.
I think Jinder's going to put up his opportunity and is going to lose.
You know, at this point, Ashley, even with all that, even with saying that the direction is Orton and Corbin, which is, I think, makes sense, I honestly think the way they're pushing, I think that they're going to have Jinder win. They've got to have him get a big victory to prove why he needs to be in this title picture. It could go either way, really. But, I mean, if they're really wanting to do something with him, I think that they're going to just pull the trigger on it. And even it'll come at the expense of Corbin. But the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of people in that match. It seemed like everybody was thrown into it. Like, let's look at it from the perspective of, like, this. Eric Rowan had no right being in it, obviously. Luke Harper deserves to be pushed, but for some reason they're not. Mojo has no right being in this at all, but because he's riding on the win of the Andre Battle Royal, he's got to be in it. Dolph has to be in it because there's really nothing for him to do right now. For some reason, they're not willing to pull the trigger on Sami just yet, and Jinder Mahal is their new play toy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying, Logan, if Corbin, he said they're protecting Corbin for something down the line. He didn't take the pin in the three-way, and he lost by count-out this week, so they're protecting him. Yeah, I think if Jinder does win, it's Bollywood interference, and that's the only way. There's no way he's beaten Corbin clean. And Dolph and Nakamura seems to only be a dark match feud as of right now, Pedro. It hasn't made it to television yet.
So, Jinder afterwards is saying, you're booing me because I'm not an All-American. Is it because I'm rich? Is it because I speak a couple of languages? You don't accept diversity, but you have no choice to accept Jinder as your next champ.
He's Tiger Ali
Interesting that line about diversity is used, despite the fact what the boss's wife is currently doing in a certain administration.
I mean, Jinder right now is basically Tiger Ali Singh. That's the character. It's like if they decided they wanted to bring that character in, like if they really wanted to do something with Jinder other than like he's calling himself the Maharaja. I mean, you might as well play up his wealth and everything if you really want to do that.
Oh, what the... I'm trying to remember which show it was. But on one of the shows, somebody came out in a car. It might have been this one. It was
And
basically Del Rio's old gimmick.
Well, that's probably what Jinder should have then.
Practically. I don't know if it was this or Impact.
Well, it probably was Impact because that would be Magnus showing up.
No, it was. I think it must have been Jinder. I think. Anyway, Randy shows up and says, "Oh, you got the prize of number one contendership, except the other prize is an RKO. But now I got to deal with another thorn in my side because I don't know what a House of Horrors match is. Nobody fucking does. Not even the people that are writing this shit."
Okay, I can shed a little bit of light on this.
Oh no.
So there's the way I want to see things happen, and there's the way that things could happen. Let me get to both of them. So apparently on Edge and Christian's podcast, they had Gangrel on recently, and Gangrel, Edge, and Christian, of course, in their Brood days, they were going to do a House of Horrors match. That was the original concept. Is when Michael Hayes was a road agent. Well, he still is, obviously, but still. When it comes down to it, it was going to be like a House of Fun match. Like there was going to be like double-sided mirrors and trap doors and somewhat the idea a little bit of total nonstop deletion. But in actuality, it would seem more like it would be done in, and I know people in chat, they're gonna dig this, especially everyone I'm seeing talking in chat right now. Kind of like a Halloween Horror Night style maze, kind of like a haunted house type atmosphere. I hope that's the route they go with this. I really do. Because there's so many great things you could do. I think that it would work really well. And Logan, yeah, the match at Payback is not for the WWE Championship, so Bray could easily win. And I hope he does, given the fact that no matter if Randy's the good guy here, number one, Randy Orton is not a good guy. Number one, he will tell you so. Number two, he kicks people in the head and he burns places to the ground. Yeah, that's a nice guy for you right there. I want Bray to win. But yeah, I'd love to see some sort of aspect like that. Like really take like a maze like we would see at Horror Nights or Knott's or Hallow Scream or any of the other haunts around the country and do it that way. I think that would be a great location for a House of Horrors. Just literally do like a maze. And like I said on Twitter, if it was a perfect world, it would be amazing that not only would you be able to do this match in this maze, you could announce this maze as an original concept for Halloween Horror Nights this year. And when that happens, you'd have wrestling fans from around the globe coming to Horror Nights just to see the Bray Wyatt maze with all the spookiness and creepiness, and you win both ways.
Anyway, Bray shows up on the screen and says, I want you to feel my pain. I want you to feel my suffering, all that agony that I've had to endure, orchestrated by what you did, Randy. But none of these things will compare to what you will face in the House of Horrors. You don't understand what you're getting yourself into. Because you may walk in as a viper, but you will never walk out. And then the stupid thing is he says run. Well, it's like, why would you run? Because you can't get out. I don't get it. Shinsuke Nakamura video package. I guess he isn't doing anything. Sad face. So then AJ's backstage, getting excited for his US title match whenever it comes. And Baron comes in and says, you should be interviewing me. And AJ's like, look, I beat you and Sammy. And Corbin's just like, look, I was the one that was the first guy to square up to Kevin. And you and Zayn just, stuck your noses in. And AJ's like, if you want another go, I'll give you another go. And Corbin's like, okay, but it's your fault. You asked for this. So then Charlotte's walking in the back, and everybody's there, at least from the women. Natalia welcomes Charlotte. Ellsworth says they're humbled to be in the presence of such a greatness, and then bumps into Carmella. So it's Charlotte Naomi. Pretty good match. Charlotte getting the win with a natural selection. Basically avoiding the rear view, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird finish because she misses the rear view and then she basically boots her between the shoulder blades and hits the natural selection.
But then here's the payoff on all that. Charlotte's walking back in the back, and the welcoming committee are like, God damn it, she won. And of course, Charlotte just goes, woo! And then walks up. Like, fair play. So now it's time for American Alpha versus Los Matadores.
Primo and Epico Cologne.
Yeah, which gimmick are they this week?
Well, like you said, they were wearing their Shining Stars gear, but I think that it was a last-minute decision to get rid of the gimmick, so they didn't have their gear ready yet. So I think that new music and new gear is coming for Primo and Epico. Dude, we've been talking about dropping the Shining Stars gimmick and just making the colognes pretty much since day one. And remember how we were talking about the Bollywood Boys and Jinder Mahal? And I talked about a 6-man division for WWE. Well, obviously, this Primo and Epico finally being known as the Colognes makes me think
Stop
Carlito.
WWE doesn't need any more fucking titles. They've already got too many.
And then you bring Shelton Benjamin in to work with Gable and Jordan, and then you've got a feud on your hands.
No.
You don't have to have titles. I think it would work, and that way you can also build up this feud a little bit more, because this match was over in 3 minutes. Via weak roll-up and an even
American Alpha are jobbing now. Oh, no, it's happened to them as well now.
Yeah, this was a weak match because they got no time to develop any sort of storyline. They had no time to have any chemistry with each other. I'm sure they could have put on a solid 10-minute match if they would have let them, or even an 8-minute match, but they gave them 3 and said, you deal with what you have.
So then Lana's getting her tits out.
Yeah, she's Emelina now, by the way.
She's coming soon. Except the thing is, because it's, Lana, I'm willing to wait. It's not like Emelina when it's like, just show up already. With Lana, it's just like, keep doing that every week. Just keep doing that. I'll be all right.
It could be the same video, too. That's fine.
Yep. And we'll get a Ty Dillinger video package thingy, whatever it is. Now, with the Face of America Open Challenge. So Kevin comes to the ring and says, Greg, get out the ring. You're crap. And then introduces himself. And he's taking on Gary Gandy.
I've heard so many things about who this guy is. I've heard that he is an independent wrestler by the name of Chris Payne. And I've also heard other names for him as well. So, I mean, it was just a straight up match. Pretty much all you can say.
Well, it wasn't really straight up. Owen just beat the shit out of him and gave him a pop-up powerbomb in about 40 seconds.
Yeah, there was original rumors that it was Eric Locker from Ohio Valley Wrestling, but then it was revealed, oh, no, it's not him. It's Chris Payne instead. So he's from an indie promotion called PWA out of Lancaster, Ohio. Makes sense.
So afterwards, Owen says, you know, all you lazy US citizens, you better put your hot dogs down, shut up and listen. As long as I am the champion around here, I will remain the face of America. Jericho will not be able to take that away from me. AJ won't be able to take it away from me. Nobody will. It's only fair that this show gets some Canadian analysis. And starts to speak in French and goes on the announce table. And of course, fucking JBL drops the line. We need more Canadians on the Smackdown announce team. JBL is a fucking hypocrite. JBL is a fucking hypocrite.
Yep, sounds like it. Oh, that's interesting.
AJ and Corbin, actually pretty solid.
Yeah, it just blew my mind. I mean, it wasn't very good, but he had a choke breaker.
True.
I was happy with that.
I did like the fact that the finish actually came into the actual outside stuff.
Oh yeah, it totally made sense too.
Yeah, Corbin going for the end of days, but Styles countered it with, was it basically a Pele?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or a variant of, really? And then managed to do a forearm off the apron, knocking Corbin into the crowd. And Styles manages to just get in the ring in time. Corbin doesn't. And AJ wins by countout.
You're really protecting Corbin, and right now you kind of have to, really.
Yeah. That's Smackdown.
It was fine. It's a decent show. I mean, it was okay for what it was. I mean, I understand why they're doing what they're doing with gender. I don't like it, and I'm not going to like it, but I'm curious to see where we go now. Owens' open challenge is very intriguing. Please tell me he's going to work El Generico. Please tell me he's going to work El Generico one night.
That'd be too easy.
That's the reason why they have to do it.
Where is SmackDown next week?
That's a good question.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
So we're going to move on now to right afterwards. We had 205 Live.
In Louisville.
Yes.
Starting off with Tazara versus Nice. It's pretty solid. The nice thing that happened is Kendrick came out and tried to interfere. You know, getting on the apron sort of thing, and the referee was stopping him. Nice seeing all this, because it is worth saying Nice had quite a lot of control of this fight. Nice obviously argues with Kendrick, like, why are you interrupting my match? And Tozawa just hits Nice with the sunset flip pin and gets the 3 count. And then afterwards, Kendrick's, going, sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to do that. And Nice just attacks Kendrick from behind. And Tozawa goes, that's lesson number 3. You always need to have eyes in the back of your head. So I guess we've got another 7 fucking weeks of this.
Real quick, there's been some commentary in chat. Logan was talking about when Mike and Marie are going to show up.
We'll get to that. I mean, well, I might as well get to it now. Yeah, the rumors are suggesting that they're going to be coming to WWE soon, and more than likely will be on the Smackdown brand.
Makes sense.
I think. I don't think they'd have him go up against Owens. Because that'd be too early a push. But I don't think you can do it too soon, because obviously then that means you bury Dillinger and Nakamura to some extent.
I don't think they'll do that.
Obviously somebody else is making their debut relatively soon. So possibly in a couple of months, like July-ish, I'm saying.
Possibly.
I mean, we'll see. So then Rich Swann makes his way to the ring and says that Alicia's had a week to think things over, so I wanted to come out here and tell everybody. But then Noam Dar's music plays and says, I can't believe that you're out here again. Last week was the most humiliating night in my life. What man interferes in another person's relationship? You're just a stinking little rat and I'll slap you. You a fox. And Swan asks Fox, what's it going to be? And Alicia says, I saw the future face of 205 Live when I saw Noam. He was young, charismatic. Now I learned, he contributed a lot to the relationship. He's immature. His aftershave stinks. He can't cook. I've been using Gnome all the time, and he's just a jerk. I never cared about you. And especially the most annoying thing is when you say Alicia Fox. And she'll snap if she hears it again. Does that mean Vince has got sick of Alicia Fox as well?
Maybe.
And she says, leave Gnome because we're done. And Alicia goes, Rich, thank you for all the nice presents. And Rich is like, look, they all came from the heart. You deserve all of them. And Alicia's like, well, I'm going to give you what you deserve. And goes in for a snog. And Swan just stops her and goes, no, I'm going to give you what you deserve. Remember somebody called Cedric Alexander? He might be injured, but he's one of my best friends. And considering your behavior, there's a pretty good word for people like you, Alicia. My mom taught me better, so I'm not going to say it. The word, of course, is cunt. Now the world knows what type of person Alicia truly is, and that's my gift. And Alicia's just like, well, single's better anyway. And of course, the crowd are getting sick of it, and they're doing what chants, and Alicia's gonna bloody go crazy again. Please tell me this means Alicia is fired.
I don't think it's like that.
Please tell me this means she's getting in the Black Wednesday, whatever they do it, mass exodus of cuts. And here's where I remember where it fucking happened. Daivari shows up in a car and says to the valet, look, don't fuck up my car. That's where I saw her. Basically, Daivari has got Del Rio's gimmick.
Oh, that's right. I saw that picture on Twitter. The yellow car.
He's taking on Mustafa Ali. Pretty solid match. Nothing exceptional. And then, of course, Drew Gulak shows up at the end with the megaphone and also a sign saying no fly zone. And, Gulak stops Ali saying, you can't fly, no fly zone. And Daivari hits Mustafa with a hammerlock clothesline. And Daivari wins. And then Gulak's backstage and says, I see a bright future for 205 Live, and that was the first step. I like Ali, but the high-flying style doesn't have a future. I will create a better 205 Live. The problem is this storyline needed to have started already. Not still be building to I'm going to create a better show. He just speed up the processes to make it truly sort of connect, if you will. And then Perkins and Aries had a good match as you'd expect. Whether it was as good as the one from Raw last week, probably not. But Perkins went for the detonation kick, but Aries managed to block it and hit the discus 5-arm. Aries wins. And then Neville shows up. Neville goes for attacking him, but Aries locks on the last chancery until TJ basically leads to a 2-on-1 beatdown, which culminates in Neville locking on the rings of Saturn. And all the officials are going, stop doing it, Neville! You bastard! And that's 205 Live.
All right. So this is moving us into something I know you enjoy talking about greatly. It's time for Impact. The last of the series of tapings that I went to, because even though it's being taped at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, I can assure you that that will be the show that you're going to see on Pop tomorrow night.
Yeah. Hopefully they do it wrong again, so we join the main event when the bloody stuff's happening.
We shall see.
The thing is, they actually sort of do show Magna showing up in the video package. So if people don't have the internet and that's all they see, it's like, oh, there you go. So then we see Braxton and Ali as well as Sienna and KM arriving for the mixed tag later. So we start off with triple threat tag action: Reno Scum, Decay, and Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid. Which is all right. Also worth noting, Josh said, all the fans watching are marks, both at home in the crowd, and that he's focusing on his match tonight and not anything that and any other matches. See, the weird thing is, why doesn't he go back to WWE? Because at the rate he's going, they'd love him. He doesn't
It's
talk about the
true.
matches. He just cares about whatever his own agenda is. Just like everybody on WWE's roster right now. It was your standard tag match, and then you had the everybody does their finisher on somebody. Then Reno Scum actually got the win with basically a leaping curb stomp.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The first set of tapings when Reno Scum debuted, it was a top rope curb stomp, and then they decided they wanted to change it to a leapfrog curb stomp.
And then, of course, in case you're wondering whether Reno Scum's going to get a push this week, they're fucking not, because Fawnstowe's got injured again.
Yep. Luster will probably work singles matches on the taping, I guess.
It's the fucking revival situation. It's like, yeah, he's out for a couple of months.
Pretty much.
So Mackenzie's with Andrew Everett saying, he deserves a title shot. And Helms and Lee come in and says, no. But you are going to be in a fatal four-way tonight with Suicide and Marche Roquette. And Everett's like, who's the fourth guy? You? I bet it's you. And Helms is just like, no. And it's like, what, are you scared of taking me on? And Helms says, all right, we'll do it. So now it's time for more Bruce Pritchard podcast fucking chilling. We're going to reveal who the fans chose on the website to become number one contender to the poll. True fucking story. I voted on this poll yesterday.
Okay.
5 days after the thing happened, because I was intrigued. Because the majority of polls, when you do the voting, you actually see the voting figures.
Right.
You don't on Impact Wrestling. So apparently, because, I voted for EC3, even though it don't matter, because obviously I voted after the great thing is they said, voting closes. If it closes, how come Owen can go to impactwrestling.com and click on the link to vote?
Well, one of the things I'm sure you're going to bring up, and if you don't, I'm going to be shocked, is the fact that during this, when this was all going down, we were talking about how we voted, and we were actually chanting, "No, we didn't vote."
No, they edited that out. Of course.
Well, I can assure you it happened. It's in my notes from the show.
I know.
At it right now.
That's why I was like, beautiful. And of course, it's James Storm, and EC3's like, look, read it again. You want to make sure you didn't make a mistake. And it's like, nope, James Storm's on the list. And EC3's just, pissed. The system's rigged. And Bruce says, well, you did say that people should vote. Yeah, so it's basically your fault the fans are spoken. It's like, well, I actually voted for him. Because if Storm gets it and wins, he'll just get fucking buried. That's what they like to do with him. And he's like, think of all the stuff I've done for this company. Are you going to hold that loss that I had to Alberto over my head? And Pritchard's like, what you should do, go backstage, look in the mirror, and ask the guy reflection what happened to the top man, and the guy who was the man. then how you lost, how did you tap out to your opponent or did you tap out to yourself? And EC3 is turning heel. Probably.
Dude, I've been calling this ever since this. I even said it in my notes that EC3 is basically turning heel. You kind of have to. There's not many heels on the top of the card right now in Impact.
So then we got Sienna and KM versus Ali and Braxton.
Yep.
Which sort of Ali flukes to win.
Yep.
So that's why I was like not entirely bothered. And then fucking Congo Kong shows up.
Yep.
Who's looking more fatter than he is. So I don't know whether he's borrowed Nia Jax's ring attire to make him look larger or something. Destroys him. And then, of course, Laurel uses this moment to beat the shit out of Ali. Sienna doubles up and everything, and bloody Sienna has to stop Laurel.
Yep.
Get yourself together. And then Laurel, by the looks of it, with her facial expression, wants to fuck Congo.
The new stable is complete now.
The new stable is introduced in no fucking important manner.
Except for that picture that I tweeted out.
I still don't know whether Laurel. I still don't know whether Laurel's in that stable or whether Laurel just wants some Kong dick.
She just wants to get rid of Ali and Braxton by any means necessary, and Kevin Matthews and Congo Kong are by any means necessary.
Speaking of sex, it's time for Rosemary to take on a lesbian, or at least that's what her gimmick was the last time we saw her in Impact, because it's Rosemary versus Santana Garrett.
This was good too. I'm sure you're not surprised.
No, because these two are damn good.
Yeah, they are. I hope Santana ends up working.
I regret the fact that they took a fucking great wrestler like Santana Garrett and made her into a lesbian. Did they just do that, considering that the storyline was with Madison, for some sort of weird Josh Matthews fetish thing that he has or something?
Well, I can assure you that there was no gimmickry here. This is just straight up Santana Garrett.
50 Shades of Josh. And of course, Davey and Angelina are making out backstage. Now, they got no remorse for what happened last week. He deserved every bit of suffering that he got. And then they just keep snogging again. So then we get to the four-way X Division match with Helms and Suicide and Everett and Rocket. Not too bad. Everett winning again with a shooting star press again on Marche Roquette again. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'll give credit here to Shane Helms for working this match and actually taking a few bumps in the match.
And of course, during this match, it is worth noting, Josh said, well, Magnus was carrying his wife's bags around for him for that other company in Orlando. And then where Matt Morgan was dug up from. Brilliant. You're burying the talent that's just come in. They better not have mental problems like Moro, otherwise creative is going to be getting murdered. Especially when you take into account that they basically mentioned WWE on their own product. Stop referencing far more inferior quality stuff than this stuff. Further proof of this. Well, actually, we'll get to what happened after Everett won. Basically, he wants a shot at Trevor Lee, but Trevor Lee beat the shit out of him until Everett managed to lock on a Franken driver and connect with that, and Gregory Helms runs the fuck away. So it's Davey Richards versus DJZ. I guess the reason why this happened is just so Davey could get a squash match.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, well, that's a great way to bury your X division. Considering how many other times DJZ's been in the X division match. Every fucking time. Then Eddie shows up. Then Alicia shows up, and it's like a mass bout brawl. And then main event time. Lashley, Bram, Drake, and Tyrus versus Alberto, Chris Adonis, Matt Morgan, and Magnus. Not too bad a match to some extent. Magnus getting the win, pinning Bram. Because I think it was 1-4 to a finish from what I remember.
Yeah, Morgan at the carbon footprint, Magnus at the top rope elbow for the win.
And then, of course, Josh disappears.
What was the last thing they showed on television?
With Borash saying, "Just don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out."
So, of course, live crowd, they got to see this wonderful thing happen. All the baby faces emptied out from the locker room. Everybody in the crowd was singing "na na na na, hey hey, goodbye."
Well, they actually showed as much as the locker room coming out to celebrate Josh being, or basically resigning.
Well, they chanted "Get the F out." Obviously, no F. Josh goes, "That's classy." And he gets on the mic and he said his wife's probably crying her eyes out in the back. But he's a man of his word. And he puts the mic on the ramp. He gets chased to the back. JB and Patron thank the fans. And Patron actually came into the stands by me and like slapped everybody's hands and everything. And then all the faces were dancing. And for some reason, Jump on It by the Sugar Hill Gang, the Apache, played as Eddie Edwards, Alicia, and Moose were dancing. And then there was a big time like autograph selfie party for all the crowd. And that was the way that Impact left. It was a cool thing for the fans, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
After 4 days of tapings.
Yeah.
Speaking of tapings, okay, so if this information is proven incorrect, my apologies, but I've been told a few things. Okay, so I will say right now that it is being said that Impact tapings are going to be in Soundstage 20 tomorrow night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The shows are going to be at 6 p.m. And I'm also being told that on Saturday and Sunday, there's going to be added 12:30 shows. So my guess is Impact is going to start, doors open about 5 o'clock, 5:15. Get in the building, 6 o'clock bell time on the night shows, and then the 12:30 shows usually start about 1 p.m. Get in the line about noon. If you're interested, there's going to be a lot of signs if you're in the park to show you where to go. There's going to be a couple markers in the front of the park. They're going to be able, and other various places in the park to direct you to where to go. And if you're not in the park, you can go by Blue Man Group and that entrance right there, and that's actually going to be where you're going to get in line, and they're going to take you to the sound stage. If you've never been to Impact before, you can leave, come and go as you please, because basically when you leave, they will reroute the crowd and make it so it looks better on television. So yeah, there's that. And here's another thing, Ashley, that TNA hasn't really answered this yet. Like, they haven't mentioned this. If you notice, Impact has not said anything about this on social media, given the fact that it's tomorrow. I do know that Snapchat is going to be taken over by Impact Superstars for the next several days, which is rather interesting.
Snapchat.
And if you are in the parks on this weekend, either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, at noon and 3 p.m. in the New York section of Universal Studios Florida, there's going to be select Impact meet and greets. Don't know whom, but we know that it's going to be happening. So it's going to be a way that you're going to be able to meet some of the stars of Impact Wrestling.
Why don't they... Why? You know why this is happening, don't you? The fact that nobody knows a fucking thing about what's happening this weekend in Impact. They're too fucking focused on the UK market.
I know.
Countless bloody interviews saying, we're on Spike, we're on Spike, we're on Spike. You know, we're a AAA, we're, you know, focusing on anything but, you know, the people that go to the shows all the fucking time. Like, you know, normal.
Right.
It's just fucking... To me, it's disgusting. That'd be the equivalent of, like, telling people like yesterday, oh, by the way, we're doing NXT tapings tomorrow. We won't tell you when. Fucking guess.
Yeah, I really wish Impact would officially announce it, honestly. Because
where's the propaganda machine trying to say, you know, they're too busy focusing on getting people to buy a fucking pay-per-view, which they can't even fucking buy yet because it's not on for another 6 weeks. Actually, no. Is it 7 or 8?
Something. July 2nd is Slammiversary.
Oh no, it's actually 2.5 months away. It's 10 weeks. Holy shit. All I see when you go to the Impact website, all I see at the top is a giant banner that's Slammiversary. It's like, why are you advertising a pay-per-view which you can't even fucking pre-order? I don't think you can even order it on the Fight app yet. They haven't updated it that much.
I mean, Impact's website is in disarray, to say the least. I mean, there's not much you can say about it.
Well, I know that the website's in disarray. That fucking voting.
Yeah.
In most survey things online, unless it's WWE, because that's a public company and they don't want to be, you know, found out.
So,
it's like, Christ.
If you follow Impact on Snapchat, Eddie Edwards and obviously his wife Alicia are going to be on tomorrow. ODB takes over Thursday, Rockstar Spud on Friday, and Moose on Saturday, and Matt Morgan on Sunday. Adam Thornstowe is out with a torn bicep. That's official now.
Mm-hmm.
Lashley's going to be defending the Impact Championship at Triple Mania.
I don't know whether they've gone that far.
That's what it sounds like from what I'm seeing.
I think they specified that titles would be defended on each other's brands. Hang on, let me go to the details that I have for it.
Do you want to talk about what's going on with since we're there anyway? Do you want to talk about Impact and AAA and Crash?
So yeah, there was a press conference. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, talking about the collaboration between AAA and Impact. So yeah, basically wrestlers from AAA will be working Slammiversary.
Yep.
And wrestlers from Impact will be working Triple Mania. In no way is this trying to hide the fact that neither's got a decent fucking roster. No, that's merely coincidence. All they've confirmed so far is Lashley, Edwards, Richards, and Moose are going to be part of Triple Mania. And that one of Impact's titles will be defended at Triple Mania.
Well, I mean, that means that Lashley has to retain, or somebody has to get a championship of some sort so they can defend it at Triple Mania.
Those four have been the only ones confirmed so far.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, considering the style of and the fact that there isn't that much lucha high flying stuff really in Impact. The only one that would fit would be X Division.
That title is going to be up for grabs tomorrow night because there's going to be a multi-man match to determine the X Division champion.
Because the awkward thing is it can't be the tag titles because obviously you can't give it to Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. because they're on the rival promotion.
Right.
I mean, it could, and also LAX, Buddy Conan, that rules that out. So it's like, it could be the Knockouts title.
Might be. That's a possibility.
Considering nobody gives a shit about the women's title in AAA, it seems. So, you know. They'll be doing co-branded live tours in the fall. Fucking hell. Where's the fucking gold, Jeff? Oh, yeah, you haven't got it. You need the money to make the fucking gold from all this shit. Jesus Christ. This is a fucking mess. I'm going to wait to see it all set on fire and burn. And not in a Bray Wyatt way.
I think it's going to be interesting 4 days of Impact tapings, that's for sure.
Well, certainly, because we'll be rolling into... I'm guessing there must be another set of tapings towards the end of May.
July, I think, is the next set of tapings. That can't be right. I saw it somewhere, but I can't remember exactly when.
Well,
because I had it listed.
Okay, because the schedule means that they wouldn't have time to.
Okay, so it's July. Well, it's Slammiversary through the 6th. So July 2nd through the 6th, and then August 17th through the 20th. August 17th will be a live Impact. Well, a live to tape Impact, and tomorrow will be a live to tape Impact.
Well,
so
if you look at the schedule, what they're going to take, 4 weeks, possibly 5.
I'd say they'd honestly have to tape more.
But that's what I'm saying. If we go, Hang on, I need to bring up my fucking cinema times. Because that was the same day that the fucking Impact's on in the UK. So it's a better gist of like that month. That's still April. So 21st will be, tomorrow's episode, which is the first one.
Right.
Then we got 28th. Then the 5th. Then the 12th. So that means you're going to have to do some sort of taping somewhere mid to late May to fill up the remaining 4 or 5 episodes before June. And then the same goes for June into July for Slammiversary.
Right.
Unless, of course, they announce it at the end of this weekend and say, come back next month.
No, we're not. We don't have Impact again until Slammiversary, because they set those dates up in February.
Yeah, but I'm wondering whether they might have to. Where do they go? The Indian stuff, I don't think, is until the fall. I don't think, are doing any Mexican stuff. Plus, the AAA stuff is going to only be probably in August anyway.
When is the UK tour?
It's 25th and 26th. That's it. It's all. Keep in mind, for that 25th and 26th, somehow they're taping 10 episodes of World of Sport.
Oh my God.
I'm guessing because they're only going to be an hour long, probably. I don't know. Because if it's 10 2-hour shows, I don't know how the hell they're going to fit that into the taping schedule.
Okay, let's look at it from this perspective.
But as I say, it's only those 2 days that they're using that TV studio. They are not using it any of the other days.
Well, I'm positive that they'll tape out of order tomorrow and the whole weekend. So I'm thinking you're gonna have your regular show that's going to be airing on Spike and also on Pop, depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to have a tape show that will also be for the live crowd when the show is airing on Pop. So there's 2 right there. And then you've got 2 on Friday. And then you have potentially 4 on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, because you've got a 12:30, a 1 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show on the weekend for Saturday and Sunday. So that if unless they do a one night only, which is a possibility too, which I'm thinking one of those might be a one night only. I'd say focus on the tag division, because the last one night only was the Knockouts, which we have results for, obviously, because I went and.
So that would be 21, 28, 5, 12, 19. But then my problem there is, if they're taping World of Sport stuff that will somehow air on Impact, why the fuck would people want to watch World of Sport if a match has already aired like 2 months before?
I mean,
That's what I'm trying to work out, because if we are doing more episodes, they need to tape them I can't say relatively soon, because obviously they can. But I don't think they should really do it. They can't. They can't do it live, certainly for American audiences.
Right.
If they were to do stuff in the UK. Plus, I think the tapings are Friday and Saturday anyway. And they certainly haven't announced, you can get tickets to any other days. The ITV World of Sport stuff is seemingly just the ITV World of Sport stuff. So it just leaves me pondering, where's the rest of it coming from?
I mean,
we'll have to see.
We could get another set of tapings that wasn't announced, because obviously we got this lineup for the taping dates, obviously it's running up until right before Horror Nights, because obviously it's going to be kind of hard to try to find a soundstage during Horror Nights, even though we did last year, which I'm thinking that may end up happening too. But that was all that was announced in
I think
February.
the Horror Nights time is when they might be doing the stuff in India.
The middle of September.
Yeah, I think that's roughly the India stuff.
The 15th of September.
I remember.
But I also can see them returning back to Universal on around October-ish, because that's what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they do Bound for Glory in India, which I don't think they're going to do that, because they got burned when they did Bound for Glory in Japan. But we'll see.
Depending how many people are there, they might do Bound for Glory at Hogan's Beach Shop.
Actually, did you see the news that Hogan's Beach Shop is actually moving locations? That location, the old 7-Eleven on High Drive, is not going to be the location anymore. It's actually moving over to beside Aaron's favorite home away from home, Mango's.
Mango's? Oh, no!
And it's also going to have a restaurant like the old Hogan's Beach Shop did before it didn't. When they had Hogan's Restaurant, and Hogan's Beach is what it was actually called. But yeah, they got rid of the restaurant.
Because I want to know whether they serve food at Mango's.
Yes, they serve food at Mango's. I can actually tell you that.
So that's going in on their fucking turf.
Pretty much.
Mango's is going to get murdered by Hulk Hogan. Where have I heard that before?
Oh boy. So yeah, that's your Impact recap for this week. And now we're going to move from Impact to UFC. Actually, real quick before we go to UFC, Ashley, do you want to go through the knockouts Victory Road one night only taping results?
Oh, that's why I was confused. I haven't got the results with me, but I'm confused because it's like, why is the women's stuff being called Victory Road?
I can try to go into it to remember.
I know the whole idea is obviously, the winner gets a contract, but
right.
That wasn't the deal with any of the other Victory Roads.
No, that's just what it was called. Victory Road to the Knockout.
They don't want to call it Knockouts Knockdown.
Probably not, for good reason.
Why? Ronda Rousey's lost. It's an accepted thing for women to get knocked out.
Maybe. So what did you say that Casey Quinn is going by now? Because she's got a new name?
I can't remember.
Chat, please help me here.
I'm pretty sure she lost, so it don't matter.
Well, I know, but I kind of wanted to get her name correct.
Call her Casey Quinn.
That's what I called her in my lineup. She was Brandy Lauren, obviously, yeah. Casey Quinn. So let's get to the shows. Basically, there was a big segment to start off the entire event. JB introduced everybody one by one and set up the situation. So Gail Kim called the matches with JB at ringside. Angelina Love defeated Casey Quinn. Davey Richards tried to enter the ring. Casey kicked the middle rope into his midsection, and Angelina hit the forearm for the win. We saw one of the cutest matches in the history of ever. The only thing missing from this match was Candice LeRae. We'll get to that, where Leva Bates defeated Allie with a roll-up with CNF interference. This involved Leva with a bear, and they played keep away with Stifler. And it was really, just like I said, it was just a really cute match. Leva wins with a roll-up. They hug after the match. And in a perfect world, they'd be tag team champions if they had a Knockouts tag division. Diamante with Homicide and Conan defeated Amanda Carolina Rodriguez with a really nasty-looking code red. And during this match, there was a really scary moment, Ashley, when Diamante went for a Tope Suicida, and she caught her foot on the rope, and she crashed and burned hard.
She lived up to the name of the move nearly then.
Yes, exactly. Rosemary, obviously Impact Wrestling's resident Jack and Chance, Rosemary and Crazy Steve. Rosemary won over MJ Jenkins with a roll up. MJ is not very good. She botched a springboard. The match ended up with Hebner getting distracted. Crazy Steve misted MJ, and then Rosemary got the roll up. MJ, of course, basically took a 22-hour bus ride in order to get there. So that was a shoot, if you're wondering. Interestingly enough, she got signed to the company because of that, so that's awesome. Alicia defeated Sienna with a backslide with alley distraction when Sienna was going for the AK-47. Santana Garrett defeated Brandy Rhodes with the Shining Star Press. Good stuff here, short and straight and to the point. Really good utilization of both. I got to see my second time of ODB against Rebel. ODB wins with the BAM. This time, Rebel went to slap Earl, and of course he ducked, and she got hit with TKO. So that led up to, I believe, the final match of the night. Let me make sure I'm right on that. There we are. Come on. Where's my notes here? Yeah, some good stuff here. The main event time was Leva Bates, Santana Garrett, ODB, and Alicia over Angelina Love, Laurel Van Ness, Rosemary, and Diamante. So Leva and Laurel attacked. Well, Leva and Laurel started off. Laurel attacked Bates with the teddy bear, and there was some crazy stuff going on. At one point, Rosemary didn't understand that Diamante was screaming in Spanish, so she was like, "No one knows what you're saying." ODB hit everybody with the avalanche and then the quadruple Bronco Buster, and Alicia wins with the swinging reverse STO. Decent match for what it was. And of course, Eddie Edwards comes out afterwards announcing, obviously, he's her husband, and puts her over. And then Karen Jarrett comes out and she says, "It's time for a change. No need for formalities. I'm going to offer you a contract." And she signs the contract, and that's how it ended. Now we can go to UFC.
No, I need to blow a nose first.
Fair point.
So we're in Kansas City. I've just noticed we're in Kansas City for UFC. Where's WWE next Monday night, Owen?
Oh God, that's a good point. Wow.
Fucking copying them. Hang on, where's the next UFC show? Where is this weekend's UFC?
Her name's Ava Story. Sorry.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
I don't know whether Raw is in Nashville the week before Payback. WWE events, please. Because if it is, it's like there's a fucking irony here. Not too bad a card, to be quite honest. Just go through the main stuff because obviously with Owen's schedule we need to be a bit quicker than usual tonight. So on the main card we had Renato Moicano beat Jeremy Stevens via split decision in the featherweights. Robert Whittaker with a very impressive win over Ronaldo Souza midway through the second round. Rose Namajunas beat Michelle Waterson with a mid-second round rear naked choke submission. And then midway through the fight in the third round of the 5, Demetrius Johnson retained the flyweight title against Wilson Rice. Right at the end, actually, it was like only about 10, 15 seconds left in the fight. Well, sorry, in the third round, when Wilson tapped out. In terms of that win, Johnson now ties Silver in terms of most consecutive title defenses. It's also noted that the event was the highest grossing sporting event in the history of the Kansas City venue. Your move, WWE. And in terms of bonuses, Johnson and Whitaker both got performance of the night for their submission and TKO finishes, respectively. Also worth noting, though, on the undercard, the opening fight of the prelims, Tim Elliott beating Louis Smolka via unanimous decision, actually got fight of the night. So both get $50,000 for being on the pre-card. Well, I guess to some extent the pre-card, because it was actually broadcast on Fox, which you'd have thought would have done well. Spoilers, it really didn't. The win got 1.74 million viewers on the overnight, which is down 18% from the viewing figures for last year's main event, which was Glover Teixeira versus Rashad Evans, and then down to roughly nearly a third on the equivalent event 2 years ago. Probably some of the reasons why it failed, possibly because it was Easter and everything, possibly because people, apparently this is the fourth time Demetrius Johnson has been on an actual Fox show, as in a free-to-view show, actually on the Fox main channel. So I think it's just people don't want to see him, they want to see other people, probably. Also, bear in mind, it was going head-to-head with ice hockey playoffs, which I believe was Chicago and Nashville. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the future. Whether viewership will actually be up for the other ones because of when it falls in the year. In terms of other stuff, Demetrius has said his next fight won't be against Cody Garbrandt to beat or have the chance to beat Anderson Silva's record. Also, it was this week was the 35th birthday of Gina Carano, who's widely believed to be, well, probably not this year, but certainly sooner rather than later, actually going into the UFC Hall of Fame. The irony being, of course, she never actually had a fight in UFC. But the reason why she'd get in is because if she didn't exist, there probably would be no women's fighting in UFC. Because that's why they brought it in. Because of how much of a draw it was for Strikeforce, obviously, because when they bought them. And then, of course, through that, they managed to get Ronda Rousey. And, you know, for a fair number of years, she was a pretty important cash cow for UFC. So, you know, hopefully Carano gets in. And then they can randomly show clips of her beating the shit out of Fassbender. And McGregor. Who else did she beat the shit out of in that film?
I just can't forget. All of a sudden, Ewan just standing there, and the next thing you know, she just runs down the beach and decks him as hard as humanly possible.
Yeah. He didn't use the force that time.
He couldn't.
So there is some other bits of news. But I'll get to them in a minute, because first I'll bring up what's coming up this weekend. It's a Fox Sports 1 show. It's Fight Night Swanson versus Loboff from Nashville. I still haven't checked where WWE are having their show next week.
What is it again?
Hang on, I need to check.
Hold on, I can go to there.
Decided to go wonky on me. So I will go through the full card of this one. On Fight Pass, we've got 3 fights. In the flyweights, we've got Hector Sandoval versus Matt Schnell. In the welterweights, Brian Barberena versus Joe Proctor. And then the women's bantamweights, Alexis Davis versus Cindy Dandois. Alexis is only on the Fight Pass stuff. Somewhat of a surprise to actually recognize that name compared to quite a lot of the names that are on the actual proper prelim card, which he'll be on Fox Sports 2. On that, we've got a women's strawweight fight with Jessica Penne, not to be confused with Pena, versus Danielle Taylor. Scott Holtzman and Michael McBride in the lightweight division. Another flyweight fight with Dustin Ortiz versus Brandon Moreno. And Fales Lietes, I believe it is, taking on Sam Alvey in the middleweight division, main eventing that portion of the card. And the main event itself apparently has got 5 matches on it. 6 matches. Can't even read properly. So we got a welterweight bout with Jake Ellenberger versus Mike Perry. A lightweight fight with Joe Lausen and Stevie Ray. Next up, the bantamweights with John Dodson versus Eddie Wineland. Then a light heavyweight contest with Ovan St. Preux versus Marcos Roguero de Lima. Your co-main is Al Yacatina and Diego Sanchez in your lightweight division. And your featherweight main event, as sort of hinted at by the name of the show, Cub Swanson takes on Artem Lobov. Let's check. Raw's in Kansas City. Where is Raw after Payback?
I'm trying to find it. Okay, I got it.
Oh, well, if Raw's in Sacramento, it's not going to be anywhere near. Oh, no, Raw's in Sacramento. Because I was going to say, if you've got California shows for the pay-per-view, they ain't going to move too far from Cali.
What day were we looking for?
I was looking for the week after. And then, of course, the week after that is the UK tour. So that ruins that idea. Because I remember, wasn't it like the week before as well? Like it was either Cleveland, like the week after WWE or something.
Something like that.
They were at the same time, sort of thing. So the other little bits of news, which I wanted to leave till the end because they're somewhat bigger, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually find them. So UFC 214 is getting complicated. They want Jermaine de Rondeau versus Cyborg at that event. Of course, Ronda May is like trying to avoid it all she wants because she knows that Cyborg's probably going to kill her. Not literally, but like end her title reign sooner rather than later. The other thing, though, is regarding what could have been, or probably won't be, the main event. Because basically the rumors are 214 is going to have Cormier versus John Jones. With the option that Cormier will instead face against Jimmy Manoa, with Jones having a tune-up fight. Thing is, knowing Jones, the likelihood is he isn't going to have a tune-up fight. He'll want to go straight in, which is probably aided by the fact that there was a Twitter exchange right before the weekend with Cormier accusing Jones of doing steroids, with Jones saying, "Is that another thing you tell yourself to sleep better after I made you forever my bitch?" Then Cormier said, you hid from USADA. You did steroids. You've always done steroids. You tried to cheat me. So, they're already starting Matt up again. But the interesting twist is today Dana's come out and specified if Jones is going to be on UFC 214, which is their plan and what they want, he will not be in the main event because they're that unsure about him because of obviously the previous times that they've had him in the main event and then he's fucked it up. Which is interesting because then it's like, well, if that means that your co-main is going to be Cormier versus Jones, that's going to be the biggest draw for the show. And the likelihood is, if you have that match on as the co-main, and let's say Cyborg versus Jermaine for the featherweight belt as the main, there will be a heck of a lot of people that will not care about it. I mean, I think that's why they probably actually want Duranda May to make sure she actually comes back. Because I think they're going to try and position it and that to be, the main event. Cyborg finally getting a belt. And then possibly, if they want to, try and tease it towards doing Cyborg versus Ronda.
Possibly.
Because it seems like everybody that was in the bantamweight stuff is in the featherweight stuff as well. So it's some sort of excuse. There is also something else to note. Dana's said on the Colin Cowherd show today that he is trying to work out an agreement with Conor regarding the whole McGregor versus Mayweather thing, which might be happening soon. So the idea is they'll start negotiations over the next couple of days, and then he himself will then start negotiating with Mayweather's camp. And basically the rumor is that the pay will be depending on pay-per-view sales, but it's likely that Mayweather will be getting close to 100 and McGregor might be getting 75 million. That is not just like $100. That would be interesting if it was just $100. The thing is, knowing Conor, he'd want to get equal pay and billing to Mayweather, so it would be interesting to see what the hell happens there. Final numbers actually have come through for the Fox show, and it peaked at just under 3 million viewers for the main event and averaged in total basically just a few thousand shy of 2 million. So not too bad. And in terms of MMA, that is all.
Okay. And this moves us from UFC to WCPW.
Oh, this is good. I can go to sleep. Barely anything's happened because obviously we're still waiting for the next weekend to show up.
Are you kidding?
No progress in terms of announcing stuff for the Canada leg or the German leg, although there is some twists, of course, that have now happened.
Okay.
Axel Dieter Jr. ain't going to be part of a tournament, probably because, he was signed up by WWE 2 weeks ago. So in his place will be DeMac.
Here we go again.
They've also announced more matches for No Regrets. Along with, we've already had confirmed Penta and Travis Banks and Prince Amin versus Brandy Rhodes. along with the already sort of known Cody, Joe Hendry, and Gabriel Kidd in the triple threat for the internet title. This week, they've added Alberto versus Joe Coffey and Rey Mysterio versus El Ligero.
Oh, wow.
And then, as announced by the What Culture general manager, because they can't actually call him Plumpy, because then that really doesn't make the fucking brand look any good. They just say, I am your What Culture general manager, because everybody knows it's Adam/Plumpy.
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting weekend for Drew next week.
Yeah.
Because Saturday, as part of the pay-per-view, there's going to be a 30-person Rumble. And the last person left will become WCPW champion. Or stay WCPW champion if it's Galloway. And then if Galloway is still champion for the following night, or the following day, I guess, which is the Mexican World Cup show, extreme measures will have to be taken because he doesn't want the belt being dropped in a bin by Medusa. That's my thoughts on it anyway, not what he actually said. To be quite honest, because of the whole deal, I've got a feeling Galloway's dropping the title.
I'd say so.
No regrets. And then probably the rematch will happen on the YouTube bit.
I think that they're finally going to give Joe Hendry the championship, and he's going to win because of prestige.
We'll see. Certainly leaves it open. You know, could they actually dare give it to Gabriel Kidd, the internet
absolutely.
title of Cody?
They totally could.
And then, of course, Hendry trumps him by actually getting the belt that Hendry should have had.
It's a very good possibility.
Which, in circumstances, it makes you wonder whether he should have had it in the first place. Then again, do you want the WCPW title? Because unless you Rampage, it means you're going to the WWE.
That's a fair point.
Because that's the route we're going. And also, it's worth noting, I didn't notice this until seeing it on Tay Internets. They did advertise originally, when they talked about the Mexican stuff, that Caristica, a.k.a. the former Sin Cara / Mystico, was going to be part of the tournament. Well, I guess because he's CMLL and they're not allowing, non-CMLL people to face CMLL people, aka, Penta and Phoenix and Drago and all that stuff. Even though, of course, Penta and Phoenix technically aren't. Caristico ain't going. And that's why Juventud Guerrera's in there.
Makes sense.
So basically, and also still no word on what the hell is going to be happening with the Drew's place in the tournament. Unless, they just let him be out. They let him be part of it, even though he's booked WWE. Methinks not, but, people can dream. When you're a dreamer.
Exactly. So we
That's
move
it.
on. We move on from WCPW, and now we're actually going to move on to NXT.
Oh, see, this is where they need to think about doing sets properly, because when you have a tiny set, it doesn't help to have a very obvious fucking turntable that the guy's standing on.
This is true.
It was just like, I'm standing on a stool. I'm gonna fall off. What's going on? So obviously, he comes out, comes to the ring, and the crowd are singing along. And there's a sign. In fact, there's multiple signs. And just like fucking last time, how do you spell glorious?
Apparently,
According to these people,
multiple
it's
O's.
GLOORIUS.
Yeah, don't get that.
You have failed the spelling bee. Get the fuck out of here. You have one job. Again.
One job.
God damn it. And then I just had to make sure I had the clip ready. It's like,
Oh,
thankfully
no.
I do. So, Rude's talking about how he, the new era is all about him. And you didn't see him on stage or anything last week. He was sitting at home apparently. He wasn't there. He wasn't wishing Nakamura well because he wants him out. And, all his, we are NXT sort of stuff. He's heard a lot, he was sick of hearing all the crap that Shinsuke was saying. And some woman, admittedly, she didn't shout it, but some woman actually, when he said that, actually said, it's like, is it racist though? Is it actually racist? I don't think it is. It's like, what? If you want to use that, Matthew, you can, because I'm confused by that comment. In all honesty. And Rude says, nobody.
I have no words.
It just caught me off guard. As soon as the woman said that's racist, I was just like, okay, I need to get that clip from the fucking internet, because that was just like, that's a weird, somebody clearly, like, if that's racist, I dread to think what you thought when grabbing by the pussy was said by somebody. That's perfectly acceptable. A+. Oh, sorry. I've got to do it on the new grading system over here. Grade 8. That's another fucking issue. And basically, nobody's worthy of being in my NXT. Cue Itami, who comes out, gets in the ring, stares Rude down. Slap that you could hear all the way in bloody Japan, which they edited out of the other ones. You didn't hear the almighty slap. And Rue's like, you wanna slap me? You wanna fight me? So he takes off his jacket and uncuffs his things. Like, this is my NXT. Cue Hideo, go to sleep. Hideo's clearly #1 contender. Spoilers, we had to have a fucking match to determine that. I don't know why. Clearly he was the #1 contender. So then we get into our first match, I believe.
Yes.
Trying to remember what it was.
It was Andrade Cien Almas taking on Danny Burch.
Oh, God. Oh, it was just before this. They had that random clip of like Almas making fun of Drew Galloway in the gym.
Yeah.
And then Almas came out with his entrance and was shooting fucking pyro out of his knees.
you really enjoyed that for some reason.
Well, the way it started, it looked like it was like going from his crotch.
Right.
From the angle it was at, and it was like, holy shit. There's white stuff coming out of the crotch area of Andrade Cien Almas. He's on fire. Shut up.
This was normal match you would really think here. It was basically just a one-sided squash, shotgun knees, hammerlock DDT, match over.
Yeah. Then I think we had a video package saying Asuka.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Close enough.
Which led us into the second match?
Yes.
Or was it? Actually, no, it wouldn't have been the second match yet, because then they had the video package hyping up the cage match, I think.
Then it led to the second match.
Yeah. Which is the tag team. Also, what the fuck is up with these photos? Because the way the screens shot, like, you know, what matches are coming up and what's coming up next.
Right.
Peyton looked like a man.
No.
And Aaliyah looked like a Doctor Who villain. They shot her in such a way that it's like, is she a heel? Which is weird because she isn't. But just the lighting and whatever they use with the thing. Peyton looked like a bloke that was cross-dressing. And Aaliyah looked like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. It's like, are these two on the right side of the image? Have we got the wrong image here? Then again, at least, you know, the heels aren't smiling with teeth like Nia Bloody Jax. Still don't get that.
Fair point.
The match, though, Owen?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but it was only fine because it had Peyton Royce and Billy Kay in it. I don't like Liv Morgan. I don't buy her at all. I really don't like Aaliyah. Their personalities are like extremely vanilla. There's nothing to them whatsoever. Liv Morgan was dressed in the Daisy Hayes warm up outfit, basically. Like the Daisy Hayes starter kit is pretty much what she came off looking like. Given the fact that the Unicorn Frappuccino came out today, even though I couldn't get my hands on one, I will say that they were dressed for the occasion, even though that it was months in advance. So apparently this is proof positive of Morgan and Aaliyah are time travelers. So there's the Doctor Who reference. So it makes perfect sense. They have the TARDIS.
God damn it! Are they like those fuckers from NWA that came from the year 2002?
Oh boy! I think the funny thing about that is that was a segue that I didn't even plan. It's just something that happened. I don't know why, for some reason, but Aaliyah got the win with the sunset flip on Peyton Royce. I don't know why this happened.
It was some sort of revenge for making fun of her last week, even though they did it last week by pushing her in the fucking water bath, and she was like, "Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up."
Well, it's not that I don't understand why it happened. I don't understand why it happened, other than the fact. Yes. Other than the fact that I get it. I understand. Your baby faces have to get one over on the heel. I totally get that. But Liv Morgan, Aaliyah, oh my God, just terrible tag team. Attractive ladies, they're serviceable in the ring, but my God, greener in my cell phone case. Peyton Royce continues to be beautiful and awesome. So there you go.
Put up the fucking cage.
Yes. Aleister Black returns next week, and Cien Almas takes on Drew McIntyre. And for the United Kingdom Championship, Jack Gallagher gets his shot against the current reigning and defending United Kingdom champion, Adam Pacitti.
God almighty.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Sorry, Tyler. I respect you, but you look like Pacitti now.
I don't know. With the haircut, it sort of looks more like Michael Douglas, a la Falling Down.
That's an interesting one.
Especially because he keeps wearing white shirts.
That is a fair point as well.
All he's missing is the tie, damn it.
Main event time. Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young. This is Dillinger's last match on NXT, and he went out with a bang. Young got collar off a super kick into the cage, which looked great. Great stuff here. We get to the end, and tiebreaker, and here comes Nikki Cross attacking the referee on the floor. Instead of slamming the door in Ty's face, Damo looks at him and just gradually shuts the door. It's like, no, you're not going anywhere. So Wolf and Dane have got the door secured. Here comes Roddy, Hero, and Ruby Riott out to even the odds. And at this point, Killian Dane climbs up the cage. Ty knocks him off. And Alexander Wolf climbs up again. Dane enters the cage, and of course, Ty nails a flying body press off the top of the cage onto both men. Something I can't forget, Eric Young ended up hitting the superstar elbow off the top during the match for a near fall, too. I thought that was a good false finish. So Ty climbs out the door and wins rather unceremoniously. I don't get why the finish happened. It seemed like I get the flying body press off the top of the cage. It's a good spot. But to win just randomly, he's just going to exit the door. We're not even going to stop him. We could. We're not going to. So there you go. Ty Dillinger win.
Indeed.
Good match, though. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it made sense, Logan. He finally won out in his final NXT appearance. This, on the other hand, is going to bring us to news. Yes. So I'll be going through Impact tapings next Wednesday, but now we get to go through NXT tapings.
Well, have we got actually the main event stuff?
Yep.
No, as in the actual main event tapings on Monday.
Care of the main event tapings on Monday.
It might have important shit. Like, there was only one bloody cruiserweight segment. I want to know where the other cruiserweights were. Oh, look.
So we'll get the main event tapings in a little bit. So NXT held their television tapings at Full Sail a couple hours ago. Reason I didn't go, didn't have a way to get there, sadly, and didn't have tickets. But I was going to try to get over there. Interestingly enough, after the show is over, tickets went on sale for the next set of NXT tapings, which have a very ironic date. One that benefits you, not necessarily benefits, one that you would recognize and one that I recognize. The next date for NXT tapings at Full Sail is May 25th.
Oh.
Yes, Ashley, for you, that would be UK's Red Nose Day.
What?
Yes.
We had our Red Nose Day last fucking... What? I did a video showing you the fucking noses.
I know you did, but it says what I saw, Red Nose Day was May 25th.
Yeah, for you.
That's correct.
There's a separate Red Nose Day. Americans don't have it at the same time because apparently Americans wouldn't give money in fucking March.
It's like Thanksgiving.
They're putting too much money in fucking brackets for March Madness.
Yeah, Red Nose Day in America is May 25th. And also May 25th, big time for me, it's the grand opening of Volcano Bay.
Oh.
So yeah, that's extremely important if you're picking up what I'm putting down. But the thing is, if you go on nxttickets.ticketforce.com, which is how you can buy tickets online, I'm looking to try to just see if I can find tickets right now, just to see if I can pick them up. As of this very moment, 11 p.m. on the 19th of April, I could state there are, if you would talk about the building, there is no Golden Circle ringside available. It's completely sold out. There is 6 tickets available in disabled seating. And general admission has not gone on sale to the public yet, except for the people in the venue right now. There's about 464 tickets available right now. So if you want to buy tickets to NXT on May 25th, you can get regular tickets for $10 for general admission. And if you want Golden Circle, I'm sorry, you're going to have to try next time because it's not going to happen for you. Get them while you can because they'll probably sell out rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the taping, shall we? Tapings just finished a little bit ago, and I have the results, and it makes me sad that I wasn't there for a lot of reasons. May 3rd, show kicks off with Hideo Itami against Kona Reeves. And Kona basically works the heat on Hideo, yells, "Go back to Japan." And we get the Kenta Rush, the round kicks, the running drop kick, and the go to sleep gets the win. We have Killian Dane with Eric Young against Danny Burch. Dane wins with the Ulster Plantation after a little bit of shine from Burch, like towards the end. We get Heavy Machinery, who look even more like Taz than ever before with their new gear. They defeated. See, this is the thing. When it comes to me, I like to know whom is involved in these matches. I swear to you, I've looked over 15 different results from this show. I cannot find out who lost to Heavy Machinery on this. I just know the report said they weighed about $130 a piece. And they were barely taller than the top turnbuckle. Heavy Machinery cut a promo afterwards. They like having a good time, hitting the buffet between weight sessions. They've devoured some appetizers in the ring, but they want the main course, and that's the Authors of Pain. Something we called. Tucker says, "We're getting hungry, and it's time that we eat." Okay. We get Daria Baronato, which is now known as Sonya Deville. She defeated the former Macy Estrella, which is Lacey Evans, with a Shining Wizard. Aleister Black won over Cesar Bononi. Shows for like the last several months, and now he's on television. He loses to the Black Mask. They had a number one contendership match for the NXT Championship. Hideo Itami over Roderick Strong. They went about 15 minutes. Can't wait to see this match. Roddy gets a knee strike for a near fall. He hits the go to sleep, gets the win. After the match, Hideo raises Roddy's hand. Roddy gets a standing ovation. Here comes Sanity, and they go 4-on-1 attack. Killian Dane hits the Ulster Plantation. Eric Young hits the Youngblood, and they leave Roddy laying. May 10th starts off with Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, now known as apparently the Street Posse. That's what I'm seeing from many places. They defeated the very unorthodox tag team of Dylan Miley and Ho Ho Loon. Don't know why. Basically, Ho Ho ate the pin, and then Miley destroyed Ho Ho after the match was over. So yes, they're doing this gimmick that's now already made to television, where Miley destroys his partner after the match. So yes, they're doing the same thing that Cactus Jack used to do in the NWA. Drew McIntyre defeating Sean Maluda with the Claymore kick. Until I know anything further, that's what it's going to be called. Drew gets busted open hard way under the eye at one point during the match. Don't know exactly what happened. We'll have to find out. Taylor interviews Drew on the ramp. He says he's caught the attention of Wesley Blake, but it doesn't matter. Next week, Blake can have his undivided attention in a match. I don't know what this means because that match was never taped, Ashley.
Nice.
Yeah. Then we had Chris Hero defeating Andrade Cien Almas with Taya Trinidad in his corner, interestingly enough. So she is going to be brought up to NXT now as Almas's valet, it looks like. Hero is wearing Orlando Magic-inspired basketball shorts and top, which looked awesome. Ono kicked out of the La Sombra, and he hit Death by Elbow for the win. This sounds like a really good match. I really want to see this match. We get DIY. They came out, and they said they never had a fair one-on-one rematch for the titles. They challenged the Authors of Pain in Chicago. Here comes Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss for interruption. Ciampa tells Tino it's hard to hear what they're saying because they're getting so much heat. Tino says the tag division has changed, and Riddick and Tino bury the entire tag division. They get booed out of the building. The line starts behind them. Ciampa's like, if there's a line, they just crossed it, and they attack. So this leads to a match with DIY over Sabatelli and Moss with the meet in the middle on Moss. William Regal comes out afterwards to name the challenger, but is interrupted by Paul Ellering. Says they only survived Orlando because it was 4-on-2. DIY's blood will be on William Regal's hands, and DIY versus the Authors of Pain will take place in a ladder match at TakeOver Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but okay. So May 17th starts off with Bobby Roode coming out. He says everywhere he goes, he hears about Hideo Itami. He admits Hideo did knock him out, but he was minding his own business in a $5,000 suit, completely unprovoked. It's never going to happen again. At Chicago, he's going to be ready to take care of business and make an example out of Itami. Roode said he was here, then gone, then back, then he got hurt. Didn't even realize Hideo was even employed anymore. And that all that time, he's been taking NXT to brand new heights. The crowd's booing the promo. They're jeering Roode. Roode said he beat Nakamura twice, and he tucked his violin between his legs and left NXT. At least Shinsuke accomplished something, but Hideo was a failure. Hideo comes out. Regal stops him with security. Hideo clears security, jumps Bobby Roode. Security attacks again. Hideo hits go to sleep on security guys. Roode jumps him, and then Hideo nails him again and leaves Roode laying. Wow. Telegraphing big time Roode's retaining. Anyway, then we had the match, which is really interesting. Really interesting, Ashley, and I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. There was a battle royal to determine who would be the next challenger for Asuka in the NXT Women's Championship. This battle royal. You don't know this yet, so you're gonna pop for this. This battle royal featured Liv Morgan, Aaliyah, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Ember Moon, of course, Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, Lacey, obviously Macy Estrella. There's a new superstar, a couple of new superstars. One is Victoria Gonzalez. And the other one, her name is Binky Blair. Do you remember her, the person, Bianca Blair, like the CrossFit athlete that signed with NXT a long time ago? We didn't know who she was. Vaguely. Very vaguely. So who else? Who did I say so far? I got to make sure.
Wasn't that Daria?
No, Daria is under oh God. So, yeah, exactly. Daria's name is now Lacey. Well, I think. Hold on.
All right.
Again. Anyway, Daria Baronato. Sonya Deville is Daria now. Thank you. Okay. Lacey Evans is Macy Estrella. Okay, thank you. Good. I have to make sure I got this because I'm building this for a reason. Because you don't know. Kimberly, of course.
Oh, good, she was there. Thank fucking God.
My girl, Crazy Mary, doing a new weird like country gimmick now, which I like and is awesome. And there's one more person in the Battle Royal, Ashley. Do you know who that one person was?
Considering how she may have got fired from Shine, Su Yung.
Oh crap! I forgot about. Oh well, thanks. Speaking of people that were working for other companies, Rachel Ellering is another person that was in this match. Whoops.
Well, that's obvious.
There's one more.
A fucking dad's in charge of the tag gems.
One more, and I just got 4 words for you: world's cutest tag team.
But I'm turning 30. What do I do?
Candice LeRae made her NXT debut tonight.
Well, yeah, she's been on dark matches before.
I don't think she's done anything with television yet.
Yeah, but my question is Candice being brought in? Or is this just like a one and done?
It could go either way, but I think given who she's married to, it's probably a good bet that she'll probably be involved as long as it's possible.
Well, if that's the case, why isn't Su Yung there?
Well, give it time. We got tapings coming up in May.
Are you telling me that WWE can't handle it?
Oh. So, the Battle Royal comes down to Ember Moon, Ruby Riott, and Nikki Cross.
Okay. Well, logically, Ember Moon. So
hold on.
What?
Nikki attacks Ruby. Ember goes after Nikki. Ruby tries to dump Ember after she hits the Bad Moon Rising on Nikki. Here comes Asuka. She knocks Ember off the top rope. And she basically did like a swan dive and rams the guardrail into her shoulder. With her shoulder.
Right.
So apparently, we don't know much about this, but it sounds like when she landed, the match pretty much went to the finish right away. Ember was crying at ringside, and she was helped to the back by referees and medics. So hopefully she's not hurt. Sounds like she could be. So Asuka attacks Nikki and Ruby, and the referee's like, nope, this match is over. So Regal comes out and is like, okay, fine. Take over. We're going to have a fatal 4-way. So it's going to be Asuka defending against Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, and Ruby Riott.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not.
After the failure of the last 4-way at TakeOver, which was the Rumble, by the way.
Right.
We're doing it again.
That's what it sounds like.
Except we're just replacing.
Oh, we almost lost you there, Ashley.
Can't remember her name. The BFF. Billy Kay. There we go.
Billy Kay.
Peyton
Yeah.
and Billy with Ember and Ruby.
It could be very possible. And then apparently, what ended up happening afterwards, it led to a tag match, which is how we ended the show. I don't know if this is this was for the live crowd, or if this was just if this was another match on the show. Here comes the Authors of Pain. Ellering puts them over. They get interrupted by Sanity. So the Authors win via DQ. Security comes in. They attack Security. And they're basically beating up Security. Both teams are beating up Security. Sanity has them on the stage, and the Authors beat them up in the ring. Then they have a stare down. So remember how a long time ago we were talking about having Sanity be the next challengers to the Authors of Pain? It's taken a while, but we're getting there. We haven't gotten there, but we're getting there. And that's your tapings. Very intriguing, to say the least. Ashley, do you want to discuss what's going on with Ring of Honor? Oh, well, I guess maybe not. So it's very interesting to see that set of tapings come out like that. I think that there was a lot of really cool things that actually went down on those shows. And I'm very curious to see how it comes off on television. It's going to be a lot of really interesting things moving forward. So judging by, there was a matchup that was the dark match for the night before Hideo and Kona Reeves, which was Jeet Rama with Harv and Gurv Shira, the Bollywood Boys, defeating Max Stardom. So yeah, that happened before the show even went on the air. Now we're going to talk about Ring of Honor, what's been going on with ROH. This show, good stuff as always. ROH is always entertaining. We get Caprice Coleman, had Kenny King in his corner taking on Chris Sabin. The battle continues between the Rebellion and the Motor City Machine Guns with Jay White and Jonathan Gresham. Good stuff here. Sabin does the deal. Good stuff there, but he kicked out. Coleman escapes Cradle Shock, hits a Rana, gets an ear fall off of it. Coleman goes for the Sky Splitter. Sabin's out of the way. Sabin hits Kenny King with a cannonball. Chris Sabin gets a sunset flip win when Leo Rush and Kenny King got involved. So decent match. Very enjoyable stuff, but the stuff outside the ring probably hindered it a little bit.
Yeah, but did it hinder Jinder?
Oh, God, only if it could.
Oh, that's a shame.
Now we're talking about, we get highlights from last week where Bully Ray and the Briscoes won the 6-man tag belts.
Yeah, randomly, because the next match has got nothing to do with that.
Nope, leads for Roppongi Vice against Cheeseburger and Will Ferrara.
Who knows? I mean, this wasn't too bad, but it's like, also it was sort of like, it was at the same time sort of, am I supposed to care about this match?
I mean, we're basically building to the eventual permanent split between Ferrara and Cheeseburger.
Certainly with the end, because obviously Ferrer was frustrated, with the loss and everything. Then we're highlighting Woods and Skyler.
Yep.
For the top prospect final, which is going to be on next week / this week, obviously. And then the wildcard 8-man tag. So it's Silas, Page, Jay White and Jay Lethal versus Cabana, Leo Rush, Hanson and Bobby Fish. The idea is the winning team face each other in a 4-way to determine who faces Daniels at some point, probably at the View Pepe.
Yep, I could see that.
And the team of Young, Page, White and Lethal go over. But very good match, all 8 got to shine in some shape or form. Lethal winning with lethal injection on Leo Rush, I think.
Yep, correct. I mean, they gave it almost 20 minutes too, so they gave it enough time to develop for sure.
Yeah. Overall, pretty good.
Yep. But now we get to the Ring of Honor news of the week.
Oh my God, I just realized over where I am, it's now 4:20 on 4:20. Ah, that's some good shit.
Oh boy.
So I'll start with the Dave stuff because I've got that ready to roll. Yeah, following on from last week, because obviously this is the stuff from last week. It's not the up-to-date stuff. I don't even know if it's up yet. There's still no determination on what a House of Horror match is. The fan survey thing that they sent out asked about cages, darkness, fire, pitchforks, mirrors, projected images, fog, a match done outside the arena, creepy, scary venue, music, sheepy. What the fuck is that?
Sheeple, I think, is what it is. Like people with sheep masks, because we've done this before.
Oh, that sort of thing. And the best thing, nothing different. I want a House of Horrors match to be a normal match.
I like our idea better, honestly. I really do. Greatly. Make that happen, please.
Yet more WWE refusing to do anything about JBL. Of course. CMLL's Friday night shows are being geo-blocked now. So, most people can't see it until afterwards. Either afterwards on the internet or on internet with not a great feed. Cody debuted in Pro Wrestling Noah. That's Cody Hall, by the way, not Rhodes. On the show in Yokohama, would have been last week, winning a singles match over Kaito Kiyomiya. Hasn't been back since last April when he suffered that really nasty injury in New Japan. The Progress wrestlers only work the WWN and WWE shows is because WWN wanted the Progress wrestlers exclusive to them and WWE, and WWE's paved the way for them to be able to get all their working papers in order to appear there. Apparently that was the deal. Benjamin's been medically cleared. He hasn't been signed, so will he be? Who knows? Kyle O'Reilly missed quite a bit of last weekend because he had to return home to Canada because his mother's suffering from cancer. The best wishes to her, certainly. Ricochet pulled out of his matches in the UK due to shoulder problems. Basically, the idea is he wants to be fresh for the New Japan stuff. And of course, I guess if they're doing anything in terms of possibly Impact. But then again, I don't think he'd be on Impact, would he? Considering his aspirations for the E.
I mean, there are several people that could possibly debut this weekend, but yeah, I don't think he's one of them.
I don't think he would be.
Desmond
The
Xavier is.
reason why Jason Kincaid's been out of action,
Got
when he
hurt.
did spots, he got a stinger.
Yep.
So that's
Get well,
why
Gift.
yeah, certainly. From some of them, the WWE side with full knowledge of the particulars of how the negotiations were going, all talks about WWE buying Ring of Honor are now considered dead. They're still in talks about licensing old content to be on the network, but there's still no deal on that either. Drew Galloway never agreed to appear on the ITV project, but the Impact side claims that Jim Ross was on board but hadn't signed, but then backed out after getting the WWE offer. The offer was said to be strong, and the one thing was that Ross's view is that the ITV project would only be guaranteed for 10 episodes, while his WWE deal was a guaranteed 2 years, and WWE would always be around. Desmond Xavier's verbally agreed to come to TNA.
Yep.
So you might be seeing him this weekend.
Good possibility we will.
Interestingly, the tag team in LAX was originally supposed to be Monster Mac and Dan Maff.
Supposed to be the Hit Squad. Yeah, I know. But they couldn't make the booking.
Because of their real jobs.
Yep.
So
Please bring them in.
What we're implying is EYFBO didn't have jobs. I guess.
And they changed their names, too. Did you see that?
No.
They're now Santana and Ortiz.
Carlos! Tito! My God. Apparently, Vince and Linda's family worth is somewhere in the region of a billion. Mostly in this form of stock and real estate. Obviously, they had to file that because of the Small Business Administration. So, they had to file their tax returns. Unlike, somebody that's actually higher up than them. Any ironies there now?
Hold on. I think we have some, I don't want to say breaking news, but I do see something that I don't see in Dave's report. The Anthem. No, I don't care about him. The Anthem. I don't care about football. The Anthem and AAA deal, talking about bringing Lucha superstars on Impact. Apparently, they can be on the show, but not as their Lucha Underground characters.
Right.
So Mr. Athletic Jeff Cobb could show up at the Impact Zone in the next 4 days, just as long as he's not putting on a mask.
He needs to be Jeff Cobb.
I agree, and I think he will be.
Among the things that they apparently own, there's an $8 million home in Greenwich. A $3 million penthouse at the Trump Park luxury condos in Stamford, which is where Vince lives most of the time. 12 million in 10 different bank accounts under Vince's name. 25 to 50 million in a Morgan Stanley money market account. And WWE stock worth in the region of about 780 million. They also have properties in New York, Vegas, and Boca Raton, and millions in public bonds. Also, I think we know who this is. They're also owed somewhere between 5 and 25 million by an unspecified family member that they loaned money to. That your failed shit in China, Chain? Is that why you fucking came back? Apparently, live event merch sales for WrestleMania grossed $3.7 million. making it basically the second biggest WrestleMania merch draw ever. But if you figure, obviously, that the show had roughly, let's say, 60 to 65,000 people, everybody bought, on average, somewhere in the region of $60 worth of merch. Owen, did you get less than 60?
To say the least.
So what you're trying to tell me is somebody spent too fucking much. Nice.
Are we talking about the broken gimmick is coming to WWE very soon?
Well, it's coming in some shape or form, isn't it?
Yes.
Not entirely in the same form, but they're teasing it, certainly.
Could be.
In case you're wondering why Triple H and Stephanie died at WrestleMania, basically they've got a family vacation in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So apparently that was more important. I thought there was no breaks in wrestling. So how come they're allowed a break? When Angle was on Jericho's podcast, he said that due to his nerve issues, he can only bench press right now 185 pounds. Which, you know, for the wear and tear that he's been in, you know, it makes sense, to be quite honest. Jim Ross's new deal is to work between 30 and 40 dates for the company. Ross has said he isn't interested in doing like a weekly sort of travel deal thing. Now, of course, that means he could be appearing at pay-per-views or doing stuff in Connecticut or announcing other major shows. We'll have to see. Also, WWE announced a multi-year partnership with DAZN, which is an international live sports streaming service owned by the same company as the Sporting News. What this basically is, what they're using this for is to stream Raw and SmackDown live in Japan. Obviously, they're trying to do this because some bloke called Nakamura, I don't know if you've heard of him. They'll also be airing compilation shows as well. Apparently, there were 7 beach balls at the Raw after Mania.
I counted more than that.
Well, there were 10 to 20 that got confiscated.
I counted 10, yeah.
Interestingly as well, for the Smackdown show, people were popping beach balls that popped up themselves.
Oh my God, I remember that. There was a guy that did it like down the road from us, and he got like some of the best heat of the entire night just for popping a beach ball.
Dwayne Johnson's coming back to Disney. He signed up to star in Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
He will also be co-producing the movie with his ex-wife. Well, that's awkward. And in terms of the most watched shows, Mania was still number 1. Ride Along with Miz Maurice, Carmella, and Alexa. The Beyond the Ring Scott Hall Razor Ramon package was number 3. NXT was at number 4. Takeover Orlando, Raw Talk after Mania, WrestleMania Monday 24, Hall of Fame Payback, and Ride Along with Zayn, Neville, and Rollins. So yeah, Payback 2014 had more people watching it than both Talking Smack and 205 Live. What the fuck? Also, and this is something that's probably worth talking about, especially because we're on the thing that we're talking about. Good old YouTube. Because it turns out that this restricted mode thing that everybody's been getting in a huff about actually affects wrestling. And that also obviously affects the advertising sort of deal.
Right.
And certainly a few promotions have been speaking out about it. Beyond Wrestling, regarding questions when they're asked about this sort of stuff, saying, quote, "This turned out to be accurate. Devastating setback for a promotion that went all in on YouTube for 8 years. Back to the drawing board. Thankfully, Beyond On Demand remains unaffected, but it's quite the blow to the free Beyond Wrestling and Women's Wrestling Revolution YouTube channels." Drew Cordero, the boss, stated that in order to make up the revenue, they'd have to sell an extra 250 DVDs on Smart Mock Video every month. So depending on price, that's somewhere in the region between $2,500 to $3,750. And they're, losing on ad revenue because of, whatever the things are coming in. Also, AIW put a statement on their Facebook page saying, quote, "It appears YouTube's deemed all wrestling-related content not advertiser-friendly, and our revenue stream from YouTube is pretty much non-existent as we type this. This has been a very important piece of the puzzle for not only us, but several promotions such as Beyond for several years, as we've counted on that additional income to stay in business and keep bills paid. Most of the same may sound ridiculous that YouTube could be such a large part of promoting indie wrestling. To put this in perspective, we need to sell hundreds of more DVDs and digital copies a month to make up for the lost stream of revenue. It is worth noting, if you actually go into restricted mode and go to WWE's YouTube page, I think like 2 videos appear out of the thousands that they have. Although interestingly, CWF Mid-Atlantic's head honcho figure, Grant Sawyer, said that the new YouTube policy wouldn't affect them, or the way that they're distributing their CWF Worldwide TV taping. And then with further stuff on Beyond Wrestling, they were talking to the MCN rep, the multi-channel network rep that Drew has for Beyond's channels. Talked with YouTube, and YouTube's response was, quote, "We're aware of the situation and working internally to see what we're able to do. Don't have any updates to pass along at the moment, but this is very much on our radar. I'll let you know when I have more info." So basically, it's not very good at all. And also, there's an article on The Verge saying that Google promising, saying it was going to give brands more direct control and insight to ads being placed on partner third-party as well as YouTube. Who knows? I feel sorry for these promotions, for the situation that they're in. I mean, I sort of don't feel sorry for WWE, but in essence, I also do. Because obviously, restricted mode means that most people won't see it, but then certainly this is obviously more for the smaller promotions. The whole idea of not being able to get ad revenue off it, despite the number of clicks that they've got, is Something I feel that's a little unfair. I mean, I don't know what your take is on it, Owen.
Well, I mean, okay. I know it's going to be an issue for a lot of promotions, especially ones that in this day and age have to live and die by YouTube. And I mean, I guess I'm fortunate. I think I consider us fortunate because, like with other wrestling podcasts, like the smaller wrestling podcasts, obviously not like the ones that don't depend on YouTube, but I feel that we don't really have to worry about this, and that's a good thing because we don't need to lose revenue at this point. Like I know a lot of it's weird because Wrestling with Regret, I noticed that Brian Zane has taken to doing a Patreon, so they can try to get more like ad revenue that way, since the ad revenue they were getting is dried up. But to be totally honest, Ashley, it's just a really big lull right now when it comes to YouTube market for wrestling because there's so much to choose from.
I don't know.
I'm just glad we have the viewership that we do, to be honest.
Well, we'll see. See how it develops. Hopefully positively over the next few weeks.
I hope so.
A few other side bits. Ken Anderson's going to Ring of Honor. Jesus.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
He's going to be facing the party, or the villain, I guess he is now. Marty Scurll for the TV title.
Yeah, this is Masters of the Craft. Takes place April 29th in Hopkins, Minnesota. And,
I think it's April 28th.
I'm looking at the website right now. It's the 29th.
Hey, you're fucking wrong!
I'll get to the 20. Actually, we can talk about the 28th real quick. Ring of Honor unauthorized in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Turner Hall Ballroom, and that's going to be on April 28th. The main event, it's going to be The Addiction. World Heavyweight Champion, God, it feels amazing to say that, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian taking on the Young Bucks. Silas Young versus Jay Lethal, 6-man tag match, non-title, which we have the tag team champions of Bully Ray and the Briscoes take on Dalton Castle and the IWGP tag team champions War Machine. Marty Scurll takes on Delirious, and the TV title is not up for grabs. Adam Cole versus Jay White. 4-corner survival, Beer City Bruiser versus Shane Taylor, Punishment Martinez, and Cheeseburger. And the Motor City Machine Guns of Sabin and Shelley take on Matt Taven and Benny Marseglia of the Kingdom. Let's talk about the 29th. Masters of the Craft, like I said, Hopkins, Minnesota. In the main event, you're going to see, it sounds like it's the same match. It looks like it's going to be non-title match, The Addiction against the Young Bucks. The Briscoes and the Motor City Machine Guns will be battling in the rubber match of their series that has been going on forever. Like you just mentioned, Ashley, Marty Scurll puts the world television title on the line against Ken Anderson. Matt Taven versus Adam Cole. Bully Ray versus Silas Young. That should be a brawl. Beer City Bruiser takes on Jay Lethal. Punishment Martinez versus Jay White. You're going to see the IWGP Tag Team Champions War Machine in a non-title match against the Rebellion of Shane Taylor and Rhett Titus. And Jay White takes on Punishment Martinez.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes. Should be a good show. Let's talk PWG.
Well, actually, you got the other Ring of Honor news because they're starting to announce names for the War of the World stuff.
War of the Worlds, yes, exactly.
Kushida and Hiroki Goto are going to be there. And then, as of today, we can officially announce that all 4
LIJ.
Nobles de Japón are going to be there as well. So, yeah, that is Sanada, Bushi, Evil, and Tetsuya Naito. Expect other names to come in the next few days, more than likely.
Did you announce Hiroki Goto?
Yeah.
Okay, so Goto, Naito, and Lij are signed. The War of the Worlds tour will be following along May 7th in Toronto at the Ted Reeve Arena, May 10th in Dearborn, Michigan at the Ford Community Center, the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York on the 12th, and the 14th at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Indeed. Also on the Ring of Honor front, Ian Riccaboni's signed a contract to continue announcing.
I'm not necessarily surprised at this.
Also, Simon Gotch is going by the name Simon Grimm.
I wonder if that's on purpose, given the fact that on Grimm's Toy Show,
Oh, no.
Simon Gotch is not really liked too much. He's called Simon Crotch. But Grimm has done that with a lot of superstars, and some people take it in a stride. Some people like block him for it. So weirdly enough, he's now calling himself Grimm, which is interesting to say the least.
So now let's get to how fucked up Japan is.
Yeah, let's talk New Japan. Do you want to talk about PWG first before we go to New Japan?
Well, I was going to get that into the previews.
Okay.
Because obviously
New Japan.
There's one adjustment that's had to be made, but that's why I'm excited even more. So yeah, obviously we're talking last week about the Sakura Genesis match and how Shibata was bleeding from the head and sort of like was fainting as he was walking on stage, and that he was taken to hospital, and people were like, is it fake? Is it not fake? Unless they're being very good and selling it like crazy, this is 100% fucked up real.
Oh yeah, big time.
Basically a combination of dehydration, because obviously being out there for so long, and the trauma of the skull and skull headbutt hospitalized him, gave him like the equivalent of a concussion, if not probably a concussion. But the thing is, because of the dehydration effect and everything, there is a possibility that he may never be able to wrestle again.
God, it's horrible.
No, he's awake and can carry a conversation and has some memories of the match itself. Initially did have some right side paralysis. I guess that might explain his collapsing, possibly. It is improving. However, in an unrelated incident, Akebono had to be rushed to the hospital after a show in Fukuoka last week. The note is that he's in a medically induced coma. Was expected to be in hospital for at least 10 days and was hospitalized after a match on Tuesday night in working PD day. That's obviously last Tuesday, the 12th. No, 11th. So yeah, Shibata could be gone for good. And it's interesting for Akebono because obviously most people over here would just know him for the Super. And admittedly, that sort of basically he's just been a variant of Yokozuna in Japan.
He is a Yokozuna in Japan, yes.
Winning a Triple Crown championship and everything, but yeah, he's still a big fucker. He's still living up to the mantra of the sumo stuff. So yeah, I hope all is well with both of them, certainly. So then we get to results. Oh, results. This should be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let me get to the right stuff. So it's basically UK dominated. So we start off with Rev Pro's Epic Encounter on Thursday. Started off with Chris Brooks and Travis Banks beating Martin Stone and Sami Callihan to retain the Rev Pro British Tag Titles. Jay White beat Angelico. Hiroki Goto, accompanied by Will Ospreay, beating Zach Gibson. Interestingly, Gibson tried to hit Goto with a car stereo. So it's a bit... Alright. Oh, interestingly as well, with the Martin Stone Sami Callihan stuff, after they lost, Callihan beat the shit out of Stone, saying that he turned soft and mediocre after his stint in NXT, while Callihan became one of the best wrestlers in the world, just in that they had that in. Hiromu Takahashi beat Marty Scurll, winning with getting out the chicken wing and locking on or hitting the time bomb. Then to determine the true cruiserweight champ, Josh Bodom, the interim champ, beat Will Ospreay. So Josh Bodom gets his third cruiserweight title reign. And interestingly, James Castle beat Shea Samuels, with the idea being that Samuels is the heel and Castle was the face. They cheered Samuels and booed Castle. Although afterwards, when Castle got the win, Samuels attacked him and cut off James Castle's green mohawk. Then again, if the crowd didn't like it, perhaps, that means he's even more of a face. Who knows? Zack Sabre Jr. beat Kushida, retained the Rev Pro British Heavyweight title. No prawn hold. And then Kenny and the Bucks. Who needs Benny and the Jets when you got Kenny and the Bucks? Beating Leo Rush, Ryan Smile, and Shane Strickland. My God, they were over. There was even a spot with the Omega and the Young Bucks low blowing and eye gouging each other. But they won with a double Meltzer. Not just any old Meltzer. Double. Following on from that, although I am jumping a day, Over the Top Wrestling on Saturday in Ireland, in Dublin. The biggest night in Irish wrestling history. About 2,200 people, standing room, in fact, not even any room. That sold out. Sadly, the live stream died quite a bit throughout the feed. But I think the archive version is up in full, I think, now. You can catch it on there. So we started off with Grado beating Charlie Sterling. And of course, the important thing is Grado actually did come out to Like a Prayer. No change in music here. Jigsaw beat Scotty Davis. Jern Simmons of WXW, the massive him, beat Lord Paul Tracy. Then Justin Sharp and Logan Bryce beat the Gymnasties of B Call and Sammy D. Thanks to Mr. Humperdinck, who is the quote-unquote owner of the promotion, causing some interference, allowing his boys to get the win. Then we had the 6-woman grudge match. So it's Katie Harvey, Ginny Couture, and B Priestley taking on Session Moth Martina, Nixon Newell, and Alex Windsor. this is worth mentioning because fucking Nixon Newell decided to do a 450 onto everybody on the outside. So Martina actually got the win, hitting a flying code breaker on a leaping B Priestley. But Martina put over Nixon, who's leaving. So they start raving again, and then Alex Windsor just beats the shit out of both her partners, even though they won. But really good match from what I've heard. Then Kings of the North with a tag belt, Cordon, Disorderly, and Bonesaw retained against the lads from the flat of Worky, Paddy M, and Martin. Marty Scroll beat Jay White. Nat Gibson victorious over Angel Cruz. And then the Elite beat the Bucks. The Elite beat. This time they were called the Uptown Funkers of Ryan Smile, Will Ospreay, and Leo Rush. The finish was Omega countering a handspring Ozcutter into a one-winged angel. So, and then sticking on the Elite theme, we now rewind a couple of days to Friday, Good Friday, the Elite Friday, if you will, for Fight Club Pro's free shows. So we opened up with a 6-way. I think it was originally supposed to be a 5-way with Haskins, Brooks, Maloney, Havoc, and Omari. Well, Nixon decided to join in because, you know, it's her last show. And this is where the shit started, because that's where Nixon hit the 450 the first time. And everyone went, holy shit. The amount of clips I saw of that and GIFs, like, a lot. Haskins won. Hit blocking on the sharpshooter submission on Omari. FSQ beat Jack Evans and Helico to go on to the next round of the tournament. The Dream Tag Team Invitational, that is. Sammy Callahan won the freeway with Shane Strickland and Leo Rush. Travis Banks retained the Fight Club World title against Will Ospreay with a crossface submission. The Hunter brothers beat the leaders of Marty Scurll and Zack Sabre Jr. Penta beat Ray Phoenix, the Super Kick Package Pole Driver combo. And then in their final showing, Elite won again, beating Dunn, Seven, and Bate. Omega pinning Pete Dunne. From what I remember, this was a Meltzer driver directly into a one-winged angel. Holy shit. Night 2, random bonus match with the Hunter brothers beating Jimmy Havoc and Clint Margera. This was a match that had Staples, paper cuts, and cans of beer. Okay. Zack Sabre Jr. beat Angelico. Dan Maloney victorious over Mark Andrews. Travis Banks beat Mark Haskins to retain the Fight Club Pro title with a submission. Then another of the tournament matches. CCK of Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos beat Mustache Mountain with the Code Breaker Senton combo. Shane Strickland beat Jack Evans in the final match of the first round of the tournament. Penta and Phoenix beat Pete Dunne and Sammy Callahan. Then we move into the semi-finals that opened up day 3 in London. Well, actually, first up we have British Strong Style of Dunn, Seven, and Bate beat Jimmy Havoc, Marty Scurll, and Sammy Callahan with 3 pedigrees. Actually, that's something that's worth noting. On the first night, when British Strong Style was against the Bucks, they did the whole Triple H entrance with the spraying the mist and standing on the apron. I wonder why. Now it's the semi-finals. CCK beat the Hunter Brothers and Penta and Phoenix beat FSU. Then for the Fight Club Pro title, Travis Banks retained over Zack Sabre Jr. And a triple threat, Mark Haskins beat Shane Strickland and Angelico. Will Ospreay over Jack Evans with the Oz Cutter. And then Chris Brooks and Kid Lykos, CCK, beat Penta and Phoenix to win the 2017 Dream Tag Team Invitational Tournament. Congrats to them. And also this Easter Sunday, just gone, ICW's Baromania 3. Kenny Williams retained in the opening match, retaining the Zero-G title in the Scramble, also featuring Matt Cross, Gravy David, Flash Morgan Webster, Charlie Sterling, Zach Gibson, BT Gunn. War Machine beat Polo Promotions. Their last round standing match, Chris Renfrew and Stevie Boy went to a no contest because Mikey Whiplash returned and dragged Chris Renfrew under the ring. Then, as a special enforcer, Paul the Bear Jew Craig, who's an MMA fighter, as ordered to be there by Mark Dallas. Davey Blaze and Kaylee Ray beat DCT and Viper. Then it was time to prepare for the barbed wire rope match, noting that only two sides of the ring are covered in barbed wire. Galloway actually won, addressed the crowd, and said said thank you to the fans, and they said thank you back and everything. And the Barra Street Fight, Shah Samuels, beat Kid Fight. Joe Hendry and Lionheart ended in a no contest, basically for medical reasons, because Lionheart kicked Hendry in the face while he was down. So I'm hoping that's kayfabe and not actually real. Then Wolfgang beat Grado. Interestingly, afterwards, Grado cut a promo, kicked Shea Samuels in the balls. Shah Samuels in the balls. As he was leaving, and said, "I've got a better guy to help me." And good old Red Lightning's back. And Grado said that Red Lightning is his new agent, his new boss, or his new manager, I guess. Then Bird and Ball retained the tag titles against Rampage Brown and Ashton Smith. And in the main event, we have a new World Heavyweight Champ, Joe Coffey, beat Trent Seven to become the new ICW champion. But it's worth noting afterwards, Joe Coffey beat the shit out of Mark Dallas and aligned himself as well with Red Lightning. So Coffey is heel. Dun dun dun. In terms of this week, Dragon Gate Japan have got a show in a few hours. Actually, sorry, no, it's 23rd, which is Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday. Only match of note on there is the Twin Gate title match with Chima and Dragon Kid defending against Jimmy Kanda and Jimmy K-Ness. Preston City Wrestling have got a show in Liverpool this Friday. I think there's some tickets still available. Tickets ranging from $15 for adults, general admission, to $30 on the front row. On the card, we've got Jack Evans versus Bubblegum, Chris Ridgway taking on Ashton Smith, Dean Allmark versus Angelico, Joey Hayes versus Charlie Sterling, Philip Michael versus Drew Parker, T-Bone taking on Matthew Brooks, Brian Smile versus Suna Durson, and the Yeston Reese will be issuing a championship challenge. We'll take on the champion. Somebody. Progress. Unsurprisingly, their show's sold out, but we'll still run through the card for Chapter 47, Complicated Simplicity. We've got Flash Morgan Webster versus the debuting, at least in progress, Mike Bird. James Drake versus Eddie Dennis. The Riot taking on the South Pacific Power Trip. Got an SSS 16 qualifier. As it's Jack Sexsmith taking on Paul Robinson. It's worth noting, if Paul Robinson loses, he leaves Progress. A la what happened to Osprey a few weeks back. Another semi-final. The National Progression Series, it'll be Laura Di Matteo versus Alex Windsor. The winner of that will be joining Tony Storm and Ginny in the final, what I can tell. Mark Haskins versus Mark Andrews to determine a #1 contender for the Progress World title. And the interesting one, British Strong Style of Dunn, Southern and Bate taking on Ring Camp of Axel Dieter Jr., Walter and Timothy Thatcher. All the belts are technically on the line. If Pete gets pinned, whoever pins him becomes world champion. If Bate or Seven get pinned, whoever pins them becomes tag team champion with the partner of their choice. And obviously, if Ring Camp get pinned, then British Strong Style retain the belts. Also worth mentioning here that one of the wrestlers for the promotion, Pastor William Eva, won't be in action because he's running the London Marathon. There's a story that I think is available on a podcast entitled Tuesday Night Jaw. You can find it on Progress's social media stuff. There's links to it. And if you do want to give to it, go to justgiving.com/runpastorrun. That's RUNPASTORRUN. In case you're wondering where the Atlas title is, well, Matt Riddle's champ. And he is going to be defending it, except not in a Progress ring. It's going to be in Tier 1, who've got a couple of shows this weekend, both acting as, what's the word I'm looking for? Pre-shows to the Evolve events this weekend, so we'll get to that in a minute. So Saturday afternoon, the One Who Knocks features amongst some of their matches the Carnies versus the Gatekeepers, Arcadia versus Myron Reed, the #1 contenders match between Chris Dickinson and Keith Lee, Matt Riddle defending the Progress Atlas title against Mike Werner, and Darius Carter, the Tier 1 World Champ, defends against Darby Allin. The following day, Sunday afternoon, True Will in Brooklyn. The only matches confirmed for this so far is Ethan Page versus Matt McIntosh, Penta versus Matt Riddle. If Riddle's still got the Atlas title, it will be defended on this. Also, though, whoever does win does get a future world title opportunity. Speaking of that, the match will happen between whoever's champion after Saturday and whoever the #1 contender is, whoever wins their respective matches. Also worth noting, along with the Evolve shows, Vice, the documentary people and all that stuff, that have done, I think they did one on Grado and a few other things, haven't they, Owen?
I believe so.
They're going to be filming. They're doing a series of documentaries about indie wrestling. So if you want to be on a film, you can go. C4 Wrestling in Canada this Saturday presents Phenomena. I don't know why I said it like that. Few matches confirmed so far. Viking versus Tony Depp in a 4-corner match with Brent Banks, Evil Uno, Space Monkey, and Matt Angel. Jonathan Gresham versus Josh Alexander. Stu Grayson and Thomas Dubois defend the tag belt against Heavy Metal Chaos of Alex Stream and James Stone. In a hairstyle versus hairstyle match, MVP Michael Von Payton one-on-one with Vanessa Craven. In a challenge rematch, Tyson Dukes takes on David Starr. then a no DQ, no count out match for the C4 title. Frankie St. Jack defends against Frankie the Mobster. There'll also be an appearance from former C4 champion Twiggy. Apparently, he's got something to say about something. This weekend is also House of Hardcore. House of Hardcore 24 happening this Friday in Metuchen, New Jersey. Not too many matches announced, at least at this time. There's a 6 p.m. meet and greet and an 8 p.m. bell time. The matches announced so far: Brian Cage versus MVP. The first time ever, Bully Ray one-on-one with Sami Callihan. And in a New Jersey Delete street fight, will be Matt Hardy versus Tommy Dreamer. If you note, these are, I think, the last dates that the Hardys are working.
That sounds about right.
Before they're fully committed to the E. This Saturday, they're going to be at the 2300 Arena in Philly. On that card, so far, Pentagon, or Penta, should I say, versus Sami Callihan. Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray versus the Hardys as well. Both of those will be on Flow Slam, by the way, as I believe will the Tier 1 shows, if you want to see them live. House of Glory this Saturday, coming from the Elmcore Centre in Corona in Queens, New York. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall will be there along with some other legends and everything. The only matches confirmed so far: EYFBO defend the tag belts against Psychosis and Super Crazy. Violette and her mystery partner take on Willow Nightingale and Sonia Strong. And Anthony Gangon puts the House of Glory World title up the line against Joe Gacy, who just so happens to be CZW World Champion. So Gacy's going for too many belts, to be honest. AAW's Path of Redemption, also this Saturday in LaSalle, Illinois. On the card for this one, Zachary Wentz versus Matt Fitchett, Trey Miguel and Stephen Wolf versus CJ Esparza and Brubaker. Another tag match with Paco and Ace Perry versus Conor Braxton and Bucky Collins. Chuck Taylor one-on-one with Alex Daniels. Vader Scott taking on Samantha Heights. Yaga faces Michael Elgin. It'll be Bob Holly versus Mil Muertes. Wow, okay. And OI4K defend the tag belts against Phoenix and AR Fox. Apparently Candice might be on that show as well. Who knows? Then we get to Evolve, the double header. As I say, these are all the matches that will be happening before. These are the matches happening after the Tier 1 ones that I mentioned earlier. So Evolve 82 at the Boom in Woodside, New York. The confirmed matches are Austin Theory versus ACH, Keith Lee taking on Kyle O'Reilly. Tracy Williams and Fred Yai defend the tag belts against Chris Dickinson and Yaka. I think there might be a title change there, to be quite honest. The last man standing match between Ethan Page and Darby Allin. Zack Sabre Jr. takes on Drew Galloway in a non-title match. And Matt Riddle defends the WWN title against Timothy Thatcher. And then Evolve 83 the following day in Brooklyn. / Queens / whatever it is, at the 7th Bar Catholic Church Gym. There's a rematch from Orlando weekend with Ethan Page taking on Austin Theory. Keith Lee takes on Darby Allin. ACH is versus Yaka. Fred Yehai one-on-one with Kyle O'Reilly. Matt Riddle and Drew Galloway will be in an I Quit match. Galloway's departure. And Zack Sabre defends the Evolve title against Leo Rush. Plus probably other surprises along the way. And finally, PWG's Game Over, man! Game over! I think I now know why they did that, because apparently Alien Day is coming up next week. So, there is one change to the card. Mark Haskins can't make it, possibly because of visa stuff, possibly because of WWE, possibly because of progress, I'm not sure. So he ain't facing Elgin anymore. Instead, Elgin's facing Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle's back, bitches. So along with that, we've got Phoenix versus Leo Rush, Jeff Cobb taking on Keith Lee, Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole, the Young Bucks face War Machine, Zack Sabre Jr. one-on-one with Dick Togo, and in a Reseda Street fight, Marty Scurll faces Chuck Taylor. Unbelievable.
That's not all.
What?
We have a card for May 19th.
God damn it, Excalibur. You did this on purpose, you bastard.
Hey, we get to break the news, though.
Do we have a title for May?
Yes. May 19th, Head Like a Coal.
Why are we doing so many puns on Adam Cole's name?
It's anyone's guess. Sign for the show.
Like, Jesus.
Keith Lee versus Trevor Lee.
Lee wins.
Yes. Shane Strickland versus Michael Elgin.
Okay.
Red Dragon versus Jeff Cobb and Matt Riddle.
Is that triple threat?
No, it's tag match.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of a wrestler named Red Dragon. I was like, no, of course. Oh, so Fish and O'Reilly back. That's good.
Leo Rush versus Mark Haskins.
Mark making up for it. That's nice.
Sami Callihan versus Adam Cole.
Baby!
The Young Bucks versus Phoenix and Penta for the PWG World Tag Team titles.
The rematch.
Stipulation to be announced.
May
And the main event, Trent defense.
19th. It's going to be a See No Evil match.
Yeah. It's going to be a PWG World title on the line. Zack Sabre Jr. Defending against Trent.
You mean Chuck isn't working the show?
Not listed as of right now.
God damn it! Well, if that's on commentary for most of the night, I don't object. Oh shit!
Head Like a Coal goes on sale April 27th at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to go out to check out PWG, good luck.
Yeah, because you'll have about 4 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
Unless you go to the scalpers, who have every right to make a shit ton. Well, I don't know whether they're scalpers, because I think some people like buy a block of like 8
Mm-hmm.
and then sell the ones on that they've obviously bought alongside them for an extortionate amount of price.
Makes sense.
It's not like they're trying to mass buy the thing, because obviously you can't really, because it's such a small venue. But the thing is, these people are willing to pay even more than the 85 for the front row.
Oh yeah,
like
for
some of them are
sure.
even willing to pay 850 for the front row.
And oh yeah, the G1 shows in Long Beach completely sold out. No one.
They still haven't officially confirmed whether they're going to be televised, but I think the rumor is that it is going to be at least one of them, if not both, if they can.
And I think the last bit of information I want to go through tonight, if you are a longtime subscriber to the WWE Network,
I wonder why you're mentioning this.
You have first had to order the network before August 1st, 2014. Must
Damn
be
it.
18 or older and must be from the U.S.
Damn it!
And be a current subscriber.
It's 3 out of 4. I'm fuck.
Holy crap. You're automatically entered for the sweepstakes if you meet these requirements. No action on your part. And you receive 1 entry for every day you've been subscribed to the network.
I bet all those people that signed up for the free month and then didn't sign up to pay are like, well, shit.
Yeah, maybe we're going to WrestleMania after all. The grand prize is 2 tickets to WrestleMania, 2 nights hotel stay, and 2 round-trip airline tickets. So, given the fact that I'm a subscriber from day one, maybe I'm going to WrestleMania again.
Oh, no.
It's quite possible. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, I have to mention the Universal Sweepstakes. I believe, yeah, it ends in 10 days. So you have about 10 more days to be a part of it. Grand prize winner, 4-day, 3-night trip for the grand opening of my soon-to-be home away from home, Volcano Bay, at Universal Orlando Resort. You're going to be there on the 25th for the grand opening festivities, round-trip airfare to Orlando, admission to Universal, the studios, islands, and Volcano Bay. Accommodations to Cabana Bay, as well as ground transportation between airport and hotel. Plus, you get to see the Blue Man Group as well. So if you're interested in entering this contest, go to universalsweeps-wwe.com. And if you win, there's a really good chance you're going to see me. So there.
What if you win?
I don't think I'm allowed to win now.
I had my mind on the WrestleMania stuff, not the thing that you're doing. The thing.
Yeah.
The thing.
The only issue about winning WrestleMania is I have to pay the taxes.
No.
That's
God damn you, fucking tax bastard.
Yes.
Boo. Boo.
I think that's our show.
Yeah, it's brilliant. The latest newsletter is up, but I have not found the source to actually get it up yet in terms of the major notes coming out of it. So I guess we'll have to wait until next week. Dun dun dun.
That's correct.
To give you advance warning for next week as well. If promotions that you like are having shows and you don't know when they are. Next week we've got New Japan stuff aplenty. So we roll into that crazy week. Ring of Honor stuff, as we previously mentioned. WCPW stuff, again, as we previously mentioned. Beyond Wrestling and Women's Wrestling Revolution. I think it's a double header. I'm not sure, but they've got that. PWX have got a show. And CWF Mid-Atlantic, along with Preston City Wrestling. Because apparently they have a show every week. So somewhat slimmed down from the looks of it. It'll be somewhat slimmed down again the next week as well. And then might go crazy again. Oh no, because of the Ring of Honor New Japan stuff. No, it's going to be Crazy May. Crazy May. Crazy May Reed Dobson. I don't get it.
So I will state that next week we'll have all of the results from the Impact tapings for the next 4 days.
Yeah, we won't try and go 2 hours like the last time.
Let's hope not.
Unless I need a fucking explanation as to why the shit
No worries.
is Magnus in there and he's now suddenly in a relationship with Laurel Van Ness just to piss the shit out of fucking Mickey James.
So once again, I want to thank everyone in chat tonight. So many people. Thanks, Jeremy, Pedro, Logan, Timbo, I'm very happy for everybody being in chat tonight. We had a lot of fun chatting with everybody. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at Ash is my name UK. I don't know why I sung it, but whatever.
Gaming with Ash, it goes back to its new day of Monday starting next week. Or this week, I guess you could say. Technically, it is. It'll be next week, but you know what I mean, a couple days.
Wait,
The reason why
Congo is supposed to be just the whole Fury thing? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying. So I mean, maybe the stable's called Fury.
I'm saying it's one guy, not actually the stable.
I think it's the stable.
According to the way they're describing it on their Twitter. I'm just looking because, you know, I'm actually trying to fucking find out what the shit's going on with what do they call it? Who the fuck is that? Who's the guy with the Daft Punk mask and the headphones on?
That's DJZ.
Why can't he show his face? Why does he have to look like Kylo fucking Ren? Also, isn't DJZ supposed to be like injured? So that ain't
Yes.
happening.
No, it's not.
They're fucking advertising. God damn it.
They already had it ready to go. Anyway, so like I said, that's our show. Follow Logan on Twitter, Logan Burton 10, Pedro at Evil Takes Root. Also, big shout out to Acer. Always promotes the podcast, attends the podcast as well. Find him on Twitter at Acer1337. Guests in a row for all the podcasts should listen to wrestling and or otherwise. And check out his YouTube channel at Acer5000. So also, real quick, let you know that we are going to be changing things around a little bit. If you're an AJ fan of movie content or AJ content in general, get ready because weekends are now belonging to AJ here on the Podcast Network. So Friday will debut AJ's brand new TV reviews. We're going to start off with Fargo, which debuted its new season yesterday. So we're going to be doing that. And on Saturday will be a brand new edition of Versus. And Sunday, back AJ's movie reviews. So we're backlogged for a lot of weeks. So we're going to have some stuff in the near future. AJ's had some technical issues, like I mentioned. So
Bugger All's come out this week, so we can catch up.
let's hope so. And then back here next Monday for Raw at 11:30 p.m. And then back here next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. And, of course, we got Sip and Snack coming up tomorrow or today now. And more content coming very soon. So stay tuned to the network. Follow along on our Twitter at Popcast Network, our Patreon at Popcast Network, our merch at Zazzle, and, of course, our Facebook fan page, Popcast Network. And big shout out, as always, to my great roommate, great traveling Scott. Follow him on Twitter at GR8, the number 8, Trav, TRAVLN Scott, whom all of this and moving to Orlando in general would not be possible without. His links to his YouTube channels in the description bar. If you are around Universal, hopefully you will see me at the Impact tapings this week. Acer, of course, chimes in and chat at the very last minute, as always. Lots of great stuff in the world of pro wrestling and non-wrestling stuff. Yet another busy week and more upcoming stuff. Impact Wrestling should be something tomorrow. Very interested to see who shows up or doesn't show up in the tapings. So that should be fun. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you have chosen the Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. You need to go watch 13 Reasons Why immediately. I don't care if you have Netflix or not. Find a way to watch it. And get La La Land.
Also, I'm adding one as well if you can do all that stuff. I think it might only be in the UK right now. But just added to Amazon Prime Video, Captain Fantastic. You can watch that for free if you haven't got Netflix. Well, obviously it's not free because you have to pay for the thing. You get the fucking idea.
And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Oh, God. Impact. Don't ruin it. Oh, wait, they already did. The person that's going to be defending for the championship is somebody that nobody voted for. Fake news. Hashtag sad.
Hashtag new champion.